All right. Well, wouldn't you know it, Jez? But we're live on another glorious Friday. What is this? April 3rd. Can't believe it's April already. It feels like we just got into 2026 and we're already 4 months deep. It's kind of funny because we were talking about this before the show. I was like, why does time fly? Why does time seem so slow when you're a kid? But then when you get older, it's like, oh my God, 10 years have gone by already. What's going on?
You know, I've got a fantastic example of this.
Uh-huh.
My Wi-Fi password is
Tell us your password.
it's board one.
Okay, so everybody can
I,
glom off your Wi-Fi. If
yeah.
you're anyone listening to Germany and you're around Jez,
Yeah. Come and get some Wi-Fi.
yeah,
But the reason it's board one is because I made that when I was like 17, and I've always had the same Wi-Fi password. Is board one, and the kind of like it's a hint at like what the times were like back then. I was bored all the fucking time.
you're bored.
And when I was in a band, I wrote like tons of songs about being bored. A lot of songs about being bored. And these days, I can't even imagine being bored. I'm so busy. There's so much to do. There's so many algorithmic apps to keep your attention constant.
Mm.
It's crazy, man. It's a completely different universe. So yeah, maybe that's why time seems so fast now.
I mean, it literally felt like, oh, 2026 just started, but no, we're almost, what? We're almost halfway through. We're 4 months down or whatever, so a third through. But it's just kind of crazy to think about. But anyways, welcome in, one and all. This is the Xbox 2 podcast. I'm Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, and with me we have Jez Corden, Windows Central, here with us every single week. This is episode 404, I believe.
That's right.
It's like crazy 400 episodes. Technically, I think because we started the show in April of 2017, so it's April now. So technically 9-year anniversary ish.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
I know, right? It's kind of crazy to
We
think
should
about.
we should probably do something cool for our 10th anniversary next year. I don't know. Like I would say let's give away an Xbox Series X, but bro, that's going to be like really expensive. Who knows? Maybe the Xbox Series X will be $1,000 by then. Oh, man.
Who knows? They're very, very well. I mean, the Lenovo Legion Go 2 literally had a $500 price increase overnight.
Yeah, and it's the second price increase it's had this year. In fact,
yeah. Who wants
price increase?
It's like it's already was $1,500, and you're like, come on now. But then now it's $2,000, and you're like, please.
Like, I have no idea who they think is going to buy that thing. It's a great device, but you know what's even weirder about the Legion Go 2? It doesn't have the MPU, so it's not going to get all the Xbox Auto Super Resolution stuff that they're going to add to the Xbox Ally pretty soon, I think. So it's they must have manufactured such little amounts of that like every time they buy new stock, the price has gone up so much they have to just immediately increase the price. It's crazy shit, man. But PlayStation also put their prices up. Who knows what else is going to go up in price soon?
I mean, you never
I saw
know.
oil. Didn't oil go back to over $100 a barrel this week?
Did they? Did it? I mean, I know gas prices are kind of ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, over $3. I think $3.80, something like that. I think in American. Last time I checked, it's probably even more than that now.
I've seen people paying for over 4, over 5, depending on where you're at, which is absurd.
Oh my god!
Which is ridiculous.
It's even higher in Germany, bro.
Yeah.
Do you have what car do you drive around?
I got a Grand Marquis.
You got,
but I don't really use it that much, so I don't really have to.
Is that the brand, Grand Marquis?
Yeah. Well, no, that's the name of the car.
What was the brand? Is it Ford?
I think it's Chrysler, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
I don't know American car brands because everything in Europe.
I'm not a car guy whatsoever. I just know it's a Grand Marquis. I think it's a Chrysler. It's funny because a couple of my friends growing up, they were really, really, really into cars. Like they were into cars the sort of way I was in like video games or books. They'd have like magazines of like V8 Weekly or Mustang Monthly, you know, like. And I just remember being, out hanging around with them, and they like 'cause my buddy Kevin, my buddy John, and
People in chat say it's a Ford.
is it a Ford? What I mean, whatever. I don't know. As I said, I just know
You
it's a
don't
Grand
know. How
Marquis.
do you not know what
Because
car
I
you've
don't,
got,
I don't
man?
know if it's a. I mean, because it doesn't matter. I hardly use the car very much. I just know it's a Grand Marquis. I thought it was a Chrysler, but if it's a Ford, it's a Ford. Who cares either way? But the point I was trying to make was, I have little interest in cars, like zero. So I don't really know the brands or whatever. But it's funny because I grew up, with high school where I had a couple friends who were like knee deep in this.
See, a
And
lot of Bravos is trolling you, man.
is he?
Rand really isn't a car guy.
I am not. I am not. I couldn't care less about cars. There's one thing I don't care about, it's cars. But maybe that has to do with the fact that a couple of my best friends in high school were all about cars. And you know how many times I had to go with them, like, oh, this person's selling like a Mustang 95 or whatever the fuck, and I'd have to go with them to multiple I think part of that is the reason why I always tuned out when people talked about cars.
You
Because
want
go
it
on
to
these like
be
long trips,
contrarian.
like, dude, I'm going to test drive this Camaro. You want to come? And I'll be like, yeah, I suppose. Or I'm going to test drive this Mustang. Maybe I'll think about buying it. I went on so many of these trips, or like so many of these different like stores to get different things for their cars, and I just like I hated it so much that I think that sort of influenced like how I looked at cars, because I would think of my buddies and how much they talked about it. They'd be like, yo, dude, you see this carburetor? And I'm just like, I'm sitting there at the thing, and I'm just like, can we just like play a video game or something, or maybe go get drunk, or you guys go get. I don't know. I'm just saying. I had a couple friends who were like really loved cars, and I hated it so much. Yeah.
I mean, nobody in my school was a car guy, I think, but like it's weird because Top Gear, right?
Yes.
TV show.
Yes. Never seen it, but I do know of it.
Top Gear is like it's a British, staple. I watched Top Gear because it was just so hilarious, but I was still not a car guy. Despite watching Top Gear, like everyone watched Top Gear, but nobody knew shit about cars. I don't know. Why the fuck are we talking about cars?
I don't know.
Are we a car podcast now?
I don't know. I mean, I guess so. I was just giving an example of one of the reasons why I don't like it. But yeah, bro.
Do you know what car? Like, I don't own a car, and I don't have. Well, I've got a driver's license, but it's purely to buy alcohol. But if I had a car, I would drive a Mini. You know a Mini.
Yeah, I know what a Mini is.
Well, I think Mini's owned by BMW now, but I would drive a Mini.
I think so.
Minis are cool as shit, man. They've got like the British flag in the brake lights and stuff. It's cool as hell, man. That's like a British car, bro. Even though it's German now. Maybe like if the podcast gets big enough, if we grind hard enough, Rand, I can drive like a real British car, like a Rolls Royce or some shit.
Yeah.
Or is Rolls Royce owned by BMW as well? I don't know. Everything seems to be owned by fucking BMW.
Maybe another 9 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
If everything's that Xbox is even around in 9 years, or the gaming industry is the way it is in 9 years, or if this world is even still around in 9 years.
Yeah, true that.
Did you, before we get into actual video games, did you see the rocket launch, Artemis 2? I
did.
The moon.
I did.
We're going back to the moon, Jez.
I did. I actually wrote about it too, man.
Yeah.
I think I've told this story on the show before, but like the last time I was in LA for Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase, I went to I can't remember the name of the museum, but the Los Angeles like museum had the space shuttle there.
Ooh.
And I went to see it, bro, and I teared up, man. And this is how fucking nerdy I am. I teared up at that shit because it was just so amazing to see the space shuttle in person. The engines and stuff are huge, and it was just like, man, that's just like the sum of the sum of engineering expertise and science that went into creating that shit. I teared up, bro.
Yeah.
and I felt like fuck yeah, America at that moment. I felt
You
I
felt you
felt
felt
I felt vicarious patriotism for Americans at
mm,
that moment.
mm.
So yeah, I love NASA. I love space shit, even any spaceship, bro. It's cool
Yeah.
as
I
hell,
mean,
man.
I've always loved spaceships. Like I I don't know why we stopped going to the moon or stopped doing like those adventures. I mean, I guess I understand why. Like we were in the race with the Russians and stuff and all those sort of things, and it is expensive to do this stuff. But can we just pour one out for all the flat earthers out there? Can we just pour one quick out? You know, everyone else's conspiracy theories come true, but the poor flat earthers out there, even I'm sorry, man. You're just gonna have to take this fat L as always. So I mean, shit. Even the Mayans and the Romans and everybody, even back in the day, all knew the Earth was round. But we got people now with all the educational things at their fingertips, being like, actually, it's flat and like a circle of ice surrounds the world and stuff.
That would be cooler though,
I mean, sure, it would
don't you think?
definitely be more interesting.
If
You
the
know,
Earth was if the Earth was flat and there was like dragons and there was a big wall of ice around it and it was like what's beyond the ice, bro? And you go there and it's like giants and there's
yeah,
Valhalla
yeah,
and maybe the Viking mythology was
shit.
actually the
You're
correct
right.
one.
Uh huh.
That'd be cool as shit,
And
bro.
like how
That'd be cool as shit.
all the other like heavenly bodies are all spherical or whatever, and just this one's just a flat disc. So we're like so
Yeah, it's flat disc
special.
and yeah, and all the moon and shit. There's like gods there, and there's like a wizard in the moon and shit.
Yeah,
And
the flat Earth is on the back of an elephant that's riding a turtle through space, bro. You know,
are we high right
I
now?
don't know, whatever.
Are
But
we
no, it
high,
was cool
bro?
to see the Artemis 2 thing. Uh, it
No,
was
it was
fun.
cool. I wrote about it because I don't know if you saw this, Rand, but during the launch, one of the astronauts was like, ground control. I can see
To
that we've
Major
got
Tom.
two out. Yeah, ground control, Major Tom, and he was like, we've got two Microsoft Outlooks here, and neither one of them are working properly.
Was that an actual real
Uh,
thing? I thought that was
that
like just a joke, but a part of me didn't know because
I
I'm like
think
that seems like it could be true.
it's well, I was like, is this fake? And I did try to figure out if it was fake, but like everyone covered it, so I was just like, I'm gonna presume this is real because it's fun. So I wrote like, even if this is fake, it's like it's a hilarious indictment of the reputation that Microsoft apps and services have, and I completely believe that it's real, like without
Oh
verification.
yeah, I mean,
I'm not a journalist. I'm a blogger.
yeah, I believe it too because it's Outlook and it's Microsoft, of course.
And Microsoft bad, right? Microsoft bad.
Microsoft
Yeah.
bad.
So
That's
yeah.
what people say.
If you search Outlook on your Windows PC, there's like 3 different versions pop up right now. So Microsoft causing problems in space. This is funny enough. But anyways,
That's so funny. That is so funny. But hey, welcome in,
that's all funny,
guys,
man.
to this latest episode of the Xbox 2 podcast. Do us a big favor. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening to this later on Spotify or iTunes, we appreciate you as well. We appreciate everybody who watches live or watches on YouTube later, or just wants to wait till Saturday or Sunday and listen to this while they're opening up their newspaper. If the people still get newspapers, I don't know if they do, or they're brewing their morning Joe, or if you're one of our many trucker friends who are doing some long hauls across the United States, and you know
I
passing
love
the
truckers,
time
man.
by listening to me and Jez talk about whatever we feel like, really. So, salute to you guys. Leave us a review or star rating, all that good stuff. Do some housekeeping really quick, and then we'll get into it. This week's episode is still sponsored by surfshark.net, but no ad read this week. Just want to let everyone to remind people that if you want to support the show and you want to protect yourself online, we do have the 2-year deal, 86% off surfshark.net subscription for your internet privacy, right, Jez?
Yes, indeed. Surfshark.com/XB2, 100% log free VPN,
Yep.
RAM based servers. So they couldn't even save logs even if they wanted to. 86% off, and they're located in the Netherlands, which has no data retention laws. So it's probably, at least as far as I'm aware, the safest VPN to use, and it's something I use,
On the
every
daily.
day
Yeah.
on the daily for
So
WWE on
links in the
Netflix.
description, pinned to the comments, and we also have the wonderful Patreon members. We did do an Xbox 2 Ultimate show this week because it's been a bit, a lot of stuff going on between me and Jez. We finally had an open window because like next week, unfortunately though, I have more meetings on Tuesday, so it's like, oh, this Tuesday we better do it. And we had some stuff to talk about. We had a good time. So if you want to go
We
back
did.
and listen to that, that is available. Question and answer thread is up for this week's episode, so if you want to drop us a line, make sure to do so. We got some shoutouts here for the Xbox 2 MVPs. We got Adam Bartolo, Alon Grogu, Armored 52C, Ace and Madison, Battered Haddock, Briggs Country, Bright Tundra 1, Silas, Escarda Caboose, NX, Fantasticals, Glenn, Governor Grimm, I'm Mike Zero, Inner Machine, Jay Foley, James Moore, James Wiseau, Justin Duel, Just James 93, Catriox, Laserwolf, Murray, Pat Rock, Frosty, RS Donks, Sean Kramer, Shea Elephant, Shrapnel, The Nordic Cannon, Trixar for Trey, Wagerman, and Wolfgang KPZ. Thank you guys for your continued support. It means the world to us. So what do you want to talk about first, Jez? We do the little Cody Rhodes. What do you want to talk about? So what do you want to
What
talk
do you
about?
want to talk about?
You want to talk about how Nate the Hate is just riling people up ridiculously? He gets so mad.
Oh, what did he say? What did he say?
You saw what he said about, this kind of goes, I guess, into like leaker culture, because I mean, I don't know if you've ever, you might have been accused of this before. It kind of coincides with spoiler culture, really, because there are some people that don't mind knowing how things, like they don't mind knowing how maybe a movie will play out or a TV show. They don't mind if they just want to know how things are going to be. They want to know what Nintendo's working on or what their schedule is or what Xbox is doing or what PlayStation is up to. So, when people like Nate the Hate talk, it's back with a lot of credence because he's, most likely just kind of like Jason Schreier, usually always right. There's some, sometimes where maybe things change because I think Nate did talk about a Banjo-Kazooie game that probably never will see the light of day. But plans change, games come and go. But he's usually on the target for a lot of stuff. But he made a lot of Nintendo fans mad because he's sort of.
There's nothing I like more than making Nintendo fans
Oh man,
mad.
there's nothing more than just angering Donataku and his crew, right? I don't know if Donataku is one of those upset, but he does his every single year he sort of does a podcast where he lays out what he thinks will happen or what will happen with everybody. And he did his Nintendo podcast. And he basically just laid out what Nintendo's games are. Not even like a Randall predict way where I know, but I'll be like, I think something this might happen, right? He's just straight up just here's the roadmap. Here's what's coming. And it was look, I don't like talking about Nintendo because it's whatever, but this kind of goes into the whole leaker thing, which I always find fascinating because there's always instances of certain things like the Kojima project with Xbox. How much that would have been a surprise if nobody had known about it. But the thing was, we knew about it from the Grubster, and he had reported on it for a long time before it actually happened. And nobody else in the industry really had, he was it. He was the focal point. He was the point of attack. And I always think in my mind being man, how big would that announcement have been? Because what was it, a couple years ago at the showcase where it was at the end and Phil kind of was talking about some Japanese games, and then all of a sudden Hideo Kojima's on screen talking about how they're making a game for Xbox. And I always thought, even back then, I think we even talked about it on the show, that wasn't a surprise to us because we obviously had been talking about it, the rumors. But how much of a surprise did we miss out on if that was never reported? The shock of being Xbox and Kojima? No way. You know what I mean?
There's no there's no alternative dimension.
Yeah. There's right. But so I understand, like, okay, from that aspect, but man, like Nate was like just giving out like, okay, Nintendo's got like a Star Fox game this summer or something, and they're also doing like
Oh shit.
an Ocarina of Time remake supposedly, not like a
Oh.
remaster, but maybe like a full on remake. And so he's like listing all these games, like another Metroid being made by I forget who or whatever.
I honestly thought they would have given up on Metroid after the last one.
Another like the next 3D Mario games next year and stuff. But all you see is like a lot of these people just being like, you know, I always appreciated Nate for what he did, but this time he's gone a step too far.
You've gone too far,
he's ruined the surprise for me. Oh, you know, I couldn't only imagine the tears I would have shed seeing Ocarina of Time remake, but he's stolen that from me now. I'm like, oh man, like legit. That was like someone's post, and you know,
I kind of get it. You know, I mean, if like there was a game that I was really like, you know, emotionally invested in that could have been announced on a big stage as a result of loads of hype and shit like that, and it got spoiled by some random asshole leaker like myself, then I can understand why I'd be pissed. Because one thing I will always defend, Rand,
yes,
is the right of people to be invested in gaming.
okay,
You know, if you like, I think it's okay to be invested in gaming as a hobby, as a fandom, and all that kind of stuff, and not just think of it as a mechanical kind of thing. Because over the last couple of years, I've kind of identified two kinds of gamer. I really think there's like people who invest in it from like an emotional perspective, and people who invest in it from a mechanical perspective. People who don't really care about those kind of moments, you know. And but there are plenty of people who do care about those kind of moments, and I appreciate them. Which is why partially I've kind of held off on leaking recently, because I am one of those kind of people, right? But at the same time, I've done it plenty, so you know, it is what it is. You know, you can't avoid spoilers on the internet. It's the internet, bro. What I tend to do when there's like a spoilers I want to avoid, I just kind of mute those keywords on Twitter and stuff. I just mute the keywords, and then hopefully you won't see any spoilers. But have you ever been spoiled, Rand? Has there ever been an instance where you got spoiled and were really pissed off about it
no,
that you can think of?
not pissed off about it. I don't think I've ever, no, like upset, like pissed off, never, because it's never really that serious. Like we just brought up the example of the Kojima game with Xbox. That would have been a cool surprise if we didn't know about it. And I honestly I don't know like what I lost by knowing about it. Like there's no other universe where it'd be like, oh well, this is my reaction of not knowing about it. You know, I would have been like, oh cool, that's pretty awesome. But like, you know, we had been dreaming about like a Kojima game with Xbox for a while, so it was like, oh. But no, I never really been super upset about spoilers. Like I'm not even I'm not even somebody who's like, I know like when you watch TV shows, not you know, a lot of shows outside of the Netflix ones are weekly, right? And you know me, I binge. I don't do the weekly thing like
You do
everybody
not.
else. So if there's really a show that you really want to watch, you sort of have to avoid Twitter or at least mute words, because as soon as the episode is aired, it doesn't matter whenever it is, you'll start seeing spoilers all over the place. You know, like Invincible's new season's up, and there's like 5 episodes in, so I'm waiting till like the last week to watch all of the 8 episodes. But I've already seen spoilers all over Twitter and all over YouTube, even by Amazon themselves. So I haven't watched any videos and I haven't like read any people's posts, but I've seen thumbnails. You know, this happens a lot in the video game space when people get early review copies and they'll make videos with like thumbnail spoilers of like boss fights and stuff. And it's kind of like, I wish I wouldn't have known that. But I've never really felt like that. But I understand people that do. Like, you know, The Boys is ending soon, and it's like I would like to go into The Boys, not ruining anything. And I know that I'm probably going to end up getting spoiled before the last episode happens. That's just kind of how it is. But I know I've never been truly upset about a spoiler.
That's
So
fair. Like when they were airing the new Star Wars trilogy, I like muted every single Star Wars keyword I could think of because I was like, oh man, I really need to know, like, I really need to see this in the cinema, or the movie theater. But
you're talking about like you're talking about like the sequel trilogy, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. But now I'm just thinking like I don't give a fuck. I would prefer if the sequel trilogy didn't exist. No. So spoilers could be a double-edged sword, man. If someone had spoiled the sequel trilogy for me, maybe I could save some money. Because god damn, that was bad. Really
Yeah.
bad. But anyways, I can't think of a time where I've been spoiled, but I do sympathize with people who prefer to like see it, pure. But I think there are ways of avoiding spoilers, and one of them is to mute all the keywords. But YouTube's the worst for this shit though, because people put spoilers in the fucking thumbnail and you can't avoid them. You can't avoid you if you go on YouTube, you can't avoid spoilers. There's nowhere to mute keywords, as far as I know, on YouTube. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult because YouTube
Yeah.
sometimes they'll do this sometimes, and it usually happens with a big creator. If you click on someone's video, all of a sudden like your algorithm or your thing is just like has a ton of videos from them in it, and that's all you did was just click on one of them, and then suddenly it thinks like you want to watch all of them. Because
Instagram's like that
I made
too.
that mistake before where like I clicked on a video from somebody and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I didn't really like this video. And then I go back and like my For You
And
page or
you,
whatever the
yeah,
hell is like, here's his last 3 videos. Like, I don't want to, like you click on one thing and it assumes you want to hear everything this person's ever done. And I think Twitter is the same way where like the tweets you interact with, so you go into it or you reply or you just look at it. Like, oh, you clicked into this wrestling tweet. Now here's 100 wrestling tweets from different people, and it's like I don't need to be bombarded by all this stuff. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I feel
because
you.
you clicked on it once, it thinks that's what you want, so we're gonna give it to you.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
First world problems.
yeah, first world problems
Oh,
indeed. Spoilers. But I mean,
spoiler.
you've done a yeah, I know you've spoiled things, with when it comes to certain games in development before. I think
Have.
you've made
Have.
the decision you're no longer going to do that. I think
That
you
is
made like
correct.
last year, but what was
Oh man, more than last year.
the change? Why did you like switch up on that?
I'll be completely honest, it was Josh Sawyer.
Oh yeah,
Josh Sawyer blocking me. It was like, oh man,
Josh Sawyer's
maybe
like,
I fucked up.
but it was funny
Fuck
because
this guy.
he blocked you, but he attributes the things that he said you said you didn't even say. It was Grub that said it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe you blocked both of us. I mean, we were both involved in leaking Pentiment. Jeff Grubb said it was like Disco Elysium. I don't know if he attributed that to me or not. But I never said it was like Disco Elysium. I said it was like a side-scrolling kind of a narrative adventure game. I think something along those
like a
lines,
murder
which
mystery.
is yeah, which is exactly what it was. But I also leaked art assets, which Jeff Grubb didn't do.
Yeah, I
So
told you not to
like,
do that. By the way, let the
you did
record
tell me.
show. Let the record show that when Jez was going to do that, I told him not to. I told him maybe that's a little step too far, but he was like, "No, bro, I'm going to do it." And I'm like, "All right,
Yeah,
well,
bro. Yeah. Well, if you remember, like I feel like that year, it was like 2017, 2018. Me and Jeff Grubb were in like a competition
yeah."
to see who could leak the most almost. I kind of felt, and I just kind of convinced myself, like, oh man, I'm gonna lose my job if I don't leak more than Jeff Grubb. I convinced myself of this for some reason. And yeah, because obviously I'm a big fan of Josh Sawyer and Josh Sawyer's games, but I completely understand why he's pissed at me and continues probably to be pissed at me. So yeah, I decided after that I was gonna like not be so just gung ho about it because I genuinely don't want people to think like my my mentality is that I'm just doing it for my own benefit or whatever. At the end of the day, my North Star is to deliver for the Xbox community because they've given me so much. They've given us so much, I kind of feel like. And I often think of like Xbox 2 podcast as my first job and Windows Central second, because oftentimes, like, and this is probably unfair to the Windows Central audience, but like historically speaking, Windows Central's audience has mostly been Google search traffic rather than like actual people that I interact with. But everyone like in the podcast, like I see you guys. I see you guys in the chat. I see you guys on Patreon. I see you guys in the Discord. So like that's kind of like what I see my first job as is like our community. So like my North Star and my motivation has always been to serve what you guys want. And for better or worse, I thought like you guys wanted the news, you know, all the Xbox news as soon as possible. But I think Jeff Grubb's also sort of pulled back on leaks recently. I don't see him like leaking stuff with impunity like he used to back in the day. I think we both kind of chilled out on that front. But clearly, Nate the Hate is still down with the leaks.
Yeah.
But I tell you, there's another selfish reason why I don't leak anymore. I want to be surprised myself, man. I want to be like there with everyone else, like, and it's probably selfish, but I want to be there with everyone else, like, oh my god, this is awesome, like seeing it for the first time. It's kind of like that too, man. But yeah, I don't know. So like in that vein, I don't really know what's going to be announced at the Xbox Showcase. Really, I'm like in the dark. I haven't been studying that shit. One thing that I do study is hardware. I do study hardware. I do like to talk about hardware stuff because I don't think hardware stuff has the same. I don't think hardware stuff has the same emotional impact as like a game does. So like researching like the hardware stuff is something I still do. But game stuff I've kind of held off on, but I don't know. Maybe it's dumb of me to make that kind of distinction. I don't know.
Well, you mentioned it, so I figured why not just jump right into it. You mentioned the Xbox Showcase.
I did. But do we have any super chats to get through first?
We'll hit them up after the showcase. We talk about this first. We'll talk about this first. So this week, I forget what day it was. I think it was maybe Monday. I think it was the 30th. So yeah, Monday. Xbox out of nowhere announced the showcase, and I was kind of really surprised by that. It seemed quite early to be announcing a June showcase at the end of March, beginning of April. I was like,
we talked about that on Ultimate, right?
Yeah, we did. We did talk about that, and so the Xbox Game Showcase 2026 will be happening June 7th, alongside, or directly after, I should say, the Direct is Gears of War EDAY, which is something that we've come to expect since Gears of War did not show up at the Dev Direct in January, where like Fable was there and Forza Horizon 6 was there. And I'm even struggling to remember what else was even. Oh, Kiln was there, and I think there was wasn't the Game Freak game there? I forget the name, the title of the Pokemon game.
Beast
of Reincarnation. Yeah, those were the games. So when that happened, when it was like Fable and Forza Horizon, and Forza's literally coming out a month from now, I was like, okay, well, Gears is gonna have to be the showcase game, which it ended up being. So the Xbox Newswire post says, it's time for another look at future gaming. Xbox Game Showcase will air on Sunday, June 7th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. It'll be followed immediately by a deep dive into the return of Xbox's most legendary franchises in the form of Gears EDAY. We'll begin the day with our annual Xbox Game Showcase, including first gameplay looks and huge news on upcoming titles from our first-party studios across the Xbox family, as well as our third-party partners around the globe. From the biggest franchises to soon-to-be indie darlings. Immediately following the showcase, we'll go even deeper on one of the games coming later this year. Directly from the team behind the Gears franchise, Coalition Studio, Gears of War EDAY Direct will take players into the start of the Emergence Day, offering new details, gameplay, and insights about the hugely anticipated origin story of the Gears of War saga. But wait! There's more. Because alongside this announcement, Jez, Xbox decided to bring back Xbox Fanfest, which is something they sort of canceled. They canceled it last year?
Yeah, they kind of wound down as a result. I mean, they've said they wound it down as a result of the pandemic. Whether or not that's true, you know.
Well, no, I mean they were still doing FanFest.
Yeah, but they literally said pandemic on
Sure.
Twitter.
I mean, I guess
fine, maybe someone said it was pandemic. Someone blamed the pandemic. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but it's sort of like, I mean, I get that. Like the pandemic was a thing which stopped in-person events, but it did seem to wind down as a result of the pandemic. But they did still sort of have a token kind of event. But then at that point, we were kind of assuming it was because of budget cuts rather than the pandemic, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they did them. I think they did one for 2022, 2023,
Yeah, something like that.
2024, but they were like watch parties. It wasn't like, the old FanFest from, like E3 2016 or 2017 or 2018 or whatever. It was like a smaller version of it. But so yeah, they brought this back. And then like I think the next day they ended up announcing Xbox Fanfest going global, going on tour for the 25th anniversary celebration.
Global. Yeah, which is kind of ruins what we talked about on Xbox 2 Ultimate, where I was saying like, well, if there's only 100 people, like why even bother? But now it's going global. Yeah. So it kind of like makes it more of a thing, right?
Well, yeah. In addition to June's Los Angeles Fan Fest, throughout the year we'll be bringing the party to Cologne, Germany. That's in your neck of the woods. You gonna go to that one?
Cool. Yeah, it's a 2-hour train journey.
London in the UK, Mexico City, Mexico, Seattle in the USA, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, and Toronto, Canada. With more locations to be announced soon. Expect in-person experiences that bring the worlds of Xbox to life, with opportunities for players to connect with one another and with the developers and creators behind your favorite games. Each FanFest event will be unique to the location in which it's held, celebrating the local Xbox community in the ways they engage with gaming and the people that make it special. So, there is that.
What do you think of that? You gonna go?
Do I want to go? I mean, you don't see them coming to Chicago.
They kind of fucked over the East Coast, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not on the East Coast. I'm in the Midwest, as you well know.
Same thing.
But yes, there's no event in like New York City, which is, you would think, potentially
East Coast.
But I mean, they did say there's going to be more places announced. I don't know how many more places they would announce, but you would think maybe, New York would be a good thing. Now, I did see, because I kind of looked at like you have to sign up to a website and you'll get chosen or whatever, and there is 50 winners, and each winner gets like a +1, so it looks like 100 people, which is a very small event, and it's free,
No.
No.
I've been told recently, Rand. I've been told that there is going to be more than 50, because they're inviting a lot of people manually. So, like, I've heard that everyone who was involved in watch parties last year is going to get an invite. For example, beyond the lottery. Sure. So it does seem like they're going to be inviting people manually as well. So I would expect more than
do that. Press and influencers and stuff for those sort of things.
I don't think press get into these things. I've never been to a fan fest. They usually don't invite press, but I think they do invite influencers. So maybe you'll get to go, bro.
Even if I got invited, I wouldn't go. So
what? Why not, bro? Why not, bro?
Because I don't care. I mean, that's about as simple as I can make it. I do not care.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Apathy.
I do not care. I ain't
what
going.
If you got invited to the Artemis 2 launch? Would you go to that?
No, I wouldn't have gone to that either.
What would you go for?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I ain't going.
Like, it's got to be something you get out of bed for. Come on, bro. Welcome here. What if it was Brandon Sanderson and he was just like, I want to talk to you specifically, Rand, but you've got to come to LA. What about that?
What, a 4-hour flight just to go talk to Brandon for an hour? No thanks.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, let me go hop on a plane. No thanks. No thanks. Let me go talk to Brandon. No. Maybe if he was here in Chicago, that'd be a different story, but yeah. Not interested in spending a whole bunch of money to go over there. I think that's
partially you hate flying? Do you hate flying? Is that what it is?
I don't hate flying, but I'm just saying, like, my whole thing is the
comfort.
No, it's just like spending a whole bunch of money on something that is just like once it became
No, no,
sort
no.
of just
Flights to
a
be paid for. Flights to be paid for.
who's paying for it.
Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, okay, now he's paying for it.
Yeah, he's paying for it. Brandon Sanderson paid for it.
I still probably wouldn't go.
Ugh. Is your bed that comfy?
It's not even that. It's like
My bed's pretty comfy, bro. To be fair.
So what do you think about what do you think about them bringing back FanFest? I mean, this is kind of an easy PR win for them. You know, like yeah, you know
Is it
they.
though? I mean,
I
like
think so.
the 99.99999% of Xbox fans are never going to go to these events.
Sure, that's true.
So part of
But
me is just
if we're
like,
talking about like the online Twitter sphere, YouTube thing, like bringing back FanFest is a step in the right direction, or at least for those people, because it's like, oh, Xbox is recognizing the fans. Because last year they didn't do it; they cut it for whatever reason, whether it was budget cuts or whether it was because they were scared of the people's reactions to the multi-platform shit. You know, your reason is whatever it was, they got rid of it. And it has been something they've been doing since 2015, outside the years of when the pandemic happened. And it is something that like kind of separated them from Nintendo and PlayStation. Although PlayStation did have like for a couple years they did have that like PlayStation experience, or I forget exactly what the name of it was, where
same.
they did have that and then they got rid of it. But this was kind of more in line of like, hey, Xbox is more community focused, personable, I guess you could say, and it was like a way that like people could get together and celebrate. So like the last couple years when Xbox kind of like went multi-platform and were doing things that I don't know the community didn't really particularly care for very much, and then they took away FanFest, it really seemed like Xbox was like, well, we're all going in this different direction. You can either tag along with us or not. We honestly don't
Yeah,
care,
fucked.
right? Like whatever we're gonna do what we want. And now you have new leadership, so you know they're presenting these changes as like I guess you have to question like how much is like Asha have to do with FanFest coming back, and I would imagine this was probably in the works before she took over essentially. I mean I could be wrong, but my initial
It's
guess
weird,
is like
man. It's weird because I heard that. Well, I didn't hear specifically about FanFest, but I heard. I think I said on this podcast actually a few months ago, a few weeks ago, that I'd heard that Microsoft's going to go hard on fan events the um for the 25th anniversary,
yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
But like I was also told that Asher was involved in getting this to come back.
Okay.
So I suppose like Asher's been working with Phil for a little hot minute, to on her strategy. Like even before she was formally appointed, I think she'd been working with Phil like for I think what did they say, 2 months or something like that, like as part of this transition. So maybe Asher was involved in it, but it does sound to me like obviously with the 25th anniversary being a thing, they probably want to celebrate that pretty hard, right? I remember the year they acquired Activision Blizzard, um, they invited not just Xbox content creators and influencers, but they also invited Activision Blizzard, Call of Duty, Blizzard influencers, like it was, and Fallout influencers as well. Like a lot of Fallout influencers were there. There was like a whole there was a spectrum of influencers that were sort of invited to the Xbox festivities in the year that FanFest was downsided. So I think part of it is like um budget allocations and that kind of stuff, in years that FanFest has sort of waned. But it does feel like, they identify the fact that Xbox kind of needs a community, you know. I think gaming all up needs a community because in a universe where like they're not really growing the industry, like getting people emotionally invested in your brand is kind of like becoming even more important, I suppose. Is FanFest the correct vector to do that? I don't know, but people seem excited that it's coming back.
Well, yeah, because people they look at like the things Xbox has done recently with some of the changes that Asha's done. You know, like the whole updates to the console, And like even on the top of my mind right now, I'm trying to remember some of the stuff. Like I kind of like lost my train of thought here, but people seem very more positive about like the direction. Like the Project Helix announcement, I think came after she took over. Even though obviously I don't think that was obviously like a something that had been in the works for years. But you seeing them bring back
Project
FanFest to
Helix
do their stuff.
existed, but it was Helix had a different code name. So they like when Asher came on board, she was like, let's give this like a sexy code name and then make it public. I
Right.
think was the way that went down. Because I think that the previous code name was not very sexy. It wasn't as cool as Helix. Put it
No,
that way.
Helix is a very I think a fantastic code name. I still think Scorpio's the better one. But
I think Helix makes sense for what this is because it's like the blending of the Helix kind of shape,
yeah.
blending of two platforms. Rand, I need to be about 1 minute.
Okay. So let's since the FanFest is pretty cool, it is coming back. I won't be there, but I hope everybody who is there has a great time. I sort of wonder if part of me wonders if like this is like a one-off. Like if you were gonna do FanFest and bring it back, this is the year you have to bring it back. 25th anniversary is an important milestone. But is that also something you want to do next year? Or, you know what I mean? Like, is this just going to be like, hey, we're going to do it for the 25th anniversary because we sort of have to, but after that, all bets are off because we don't necessarily need to anymore? I would imagine they'd keep doing it, but I'm not too sure on that. Now, transitioning to the Xbox Game Showcase and the Gears EDAY Direct, going through about what we possibly could see at the show. And I have seen this rumor going around, and I have no idea where it's attributed to, about the idea of Blade gameplay being shown at this year's game showcase. I just see accounts tweeting it, and it's just like, well, does this come from a Jason Schreier? Does this come from a Shinobi? Does this come from a Nate the Hate? It's just a statement, but there's no source backing it up, and I'm always like,
it sounds
odd.
like a vibe, bro. It sounds like a vibe.
Well, I mean, Blade being at the game showcase, it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination whatsoever, I don't think.
No.
So if
someone was gonna ask me today to speculate and guess, I would say
well, I was gonna say that you don't know anything about the showcase yet, which is be a little bit different in like a month and a half from now or whatever, where you probably would have a better idea. But if you had to speculate on games that potentially could show up at the showcase, what would you speculate? Blade would be one of them for me, for sure.
Well, Blade would definitely be one of them. I would say Toys for Bob's game, so maybe the Spyro 4 reboot.
I'd agree with
whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say next Call of Duty, just maybe a reveal, and then a like tune in next month for the deep dive or something.
You think just like a trailer being like find out more about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 in August or something, or maybe they hold off on that and has its own reveal in August, like they kind of do.
Yeah, maybe like
it's a good. I mean, it's like it's Call of Duty, so there's obviously like you could do that. So yeah,
maybe the vaguest kind of tease for COD, maybe. But then I would also. I mean, this is one of the topics of tonight, but State of Decay is almost a shoe-in, because we'll talk about this more in a bit. But the public test page is live for State of Decay 3, so it does seem like there's going to be some kind of State of Decay 3 test realm or closed alpha kind of sign up kind of thing coming soon.
How badly do you want into that?
I want that so badly. I want that more than any other Xbox game. I want in there more than Halo, more than Gears, more than Forza, more than Fable. I want State of Decay 100% more than anything else.
Yeah, so I knew you would. I knew you. I know.
Not counting Blizzard, of course.
Of course.
Of course, we have to like. And have you got the World of Warcraft footage on the stream, bro?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
So you guys know Blizzard is my first love. But as of Xbox Studios, there are two games that really stand out to me: State of Decay 3 and Clockwork Revolution. Those are the two games I want to see the most. So Clockwork Revolution is also one I would guess is going to be there in some capacity. But I'm also like wondering about wild cards. What about Ninja Theory? Could they tease their next game? Could we see like a bit more of Kojima's game? Could we see something of like one of the mysterious studios that haven't really announced anything recently, like Elsewhere Studios in Poland, the
Yeah.
Activision studio that was set up and we haven't even seen a peep from. You know, what else could
Hmm.
we see? There's plenty of wild cards here that we could see.
Well, I mean, you you you
Beyond the
you
stuff we
have
already know.
you have like the shoe-ins, right? Like you go through the shoe-ins. Fable gonna be there with something else. Halo gonna be there because the game will be coming out supposedly August. Um, Kiln will be out by then, so we probably won't see it. Oh well, I mean, Sea of Thieves is there every single year, so it's like, yeah.
Well, one of the things I've heard about Double Fine is that they're actually developing a bigger project in tandem with Kiln, so maybe we could see Double
Nah,
Fine there.
I doubt that very much. I doubt we'll see the other game that Double Fine's working on. Minecraft Dungeons 2 we'll probably see because they announced that already. So like
True that.
any of like the games that are coming this year, we'll definitely see more of. So I guess then you wonder, okay, any of the games that, like for instance, you
I
mentioned
tell you
Clockwork.
what, we won't see.
What Elder Scrolls?
We won't see StarCraft because it's going to be so close to BlizzCon. I would presume that they're going to show
Now let me
StarCraft
ask
at
you this.
BlizzCon.
So there was a quick tangent. There was this listing for a unannounced like AAA open world shooter from Blizzard.
It's StarCraft, bro.
That was the StarCraft game. Okay.
It's StarCraft, bro.
It,
Like StarCraft, the StarCraft shooter. It's
how do people
definitely that.
feel? Let me ask you this. Like, I I don't really feel one way or another about StarCraft. I've never played StarCraft. I'm not a big fan of
It'll change
RTSs
your
in
life.
general, right?
It'll
Although
change
like
your life,
the
bro.
lore and stuff does seem pretty intriguing. Like if it was like
It's
a
amazing.
sci-fi book or something, they'd be like, "Oh, that's some pretty cool shit," right?
There are StarCraft books. There
I
are
just sort of
StarCraft books.
wonder how will the Blizzard fandom, but I guess more importantly, the StarCraft fans feel when the newest StarCraft game is not an RTS in any way, shape, or form, but basically a third person open world shooter.
Well, I think this is
That's up my
one
alley.
time.
That's up my. I'd be like, I want to play.
Yeah,
Like if it was StarCraft 3 and it was an RTS, I'd be like, whatever. I don't care. It's like Minecraft to me at that point, where it's like, yeah, it exists. It's cool. It's gonna make a lot of money. People are gonna play it, but I have zero interest in doing it. But StarCraft, in the vein of like a Warhammer ish game, I'm like, that sounds pretty cool to me. And I'm not a StarCraft fan, really, you know? But I sort of wonder how StarCraft fans would feel if it was
sure.
this and they wanted like an RTS. Like, would they sort of
Well,
feel
bro,
betrayed in a way? You know?
betrayed. Well, bro, this is one example where I think a leak is a good thing because I think StarCraft fans, they because this has leaked so much, they're already prepared for the pain. They're already prepared for the pain that there isn't going to be a StarCraft RTS at least anytime soon. Although I think Microsoft aspires to do a StarCraft RTS someday.
Okay.
Like I actually heard the vaguest rumor that World's Edge might have been involved in talks to do some kind of StarCraft shooter, RTS, but it was kind of going to be one of them where it was like they need to find an external developer because there's no RTS team that exists at Blizzard anymore. A lot of the old school devs who made StarCraft actually went on to what are they called now? Frost Giant Games or something like that. And they made that sort of Blizzard style RTS successor, which sadly flopped. Um,
Surprised.
yeah, surprise, surprise. So I don't know. I could be getting some of those details confused, but truth be told, I don't think there is a team at Blizzard with the expertise to make an RTS right now. But I do think it's something like just from talking to Xbox executives and looking at the way, like I don't know if you saw this, but Age of Empires 4 got a new DLC announced as well.
Okay.
Microsoft likes the idea, even though it's niche. Microsoft likes the idea of owning the genre. And I think StarCraft 3 with the right team could do very well. Like maybe not like as well as like the old school RTS games used to do back in the day when it was like a core genre. But I think there's still a huge audience for that shit. I mean, look at Age of Empires. Like I've been told, pound dollar for dollar, World's Edge is actually one of Microsoft's most profitable studios. So There's definitely an opportunity there, but I think this is an example where a leak's probably a good thing because people are primed and ready for the RTS to not be the thing that gets announced next for StarCraft. But bro, like we talk about like what games people are excited for. I've seen StarCraft um shooter footage. I've seen footage of the game pre-alpha. I am so fucking hyped for that game, bro. I am so hyped for that game. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like, I'm so fucking hyped for StarCraft shooter, man. So yeah, I don't think that'll be the Xbox showcase, but like, there's BlizzCon in September. I would assume that's where that gets
Sure,
announced.
sure, yeah.
And no, it's not. People are saying that it's going to be StarCraft Ghost. It's not StarCraft Ghost, man. You play as a Terra Marine in a squad, and you blow away Zerg. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing.
The Zerg, huh?
A Zerg, bro. You should play StarCraft. Like, even though it's an RTS, like the story campaign, like that's what Blizzard was so good at, was like story campaigns in that genre. Like how they made those games feel like almost like action RPGs, even though they're RTS games. No dev has really pulled that off. I suppose like the um the devs of Dawn of War kind of pulled it off. Dawn of War is the closest thing to a Warcraft Blizzard style RTS. But man, I love that shit. I hope we get a StarCraft 3 someday. And a Warcraft 4 for actually. I don't know, I'm just rambling now. I just
You're
love
just
Blizzard.
rambling.
Why is Blizzard so good? I just love Blizzard, bro. You set me off on a path talking about Blizzard, I'll just ramble for 2 hours, bro. Don't let me do it. Don't let me do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, at least we won't see anything on Diablo at the showcase because they'll have their expansion out, right? So at least that's a
That's
positive.
true.
Won't have anything from Diablo. Probably won't have anything from Overwatch. You know, the only thing that possibly would be there from even Activision is the Call of Duty game. Although I guess you could say, I just sort of wonder
Elsewhere,
with this
maybe.
being the 25th anniversary, how hard they're gonna go on. Like, how hard will they go? Like, I guess when I look at like something Bethesda or whatever, is this when we see the return of Elder Scrolls? You know,
I think like because like one of the things Microsoft's been kind of trying to do recently is they've been trying to sort of hold back on announcing things too early.
yes, that's true.
Because like in case it gets cancelled and that kind of thing. I think if there was one time where they'd break that rule to just like hype something up, it'd probably be the
Just the
25th
saying, like the
anniversary.
25th
So
anniversary. Do you go hard? Do you go like really hard on this? Like even if like the idea was like Elder Scrolls 6 isn't coming until 2028, so 2 years from now, or even 2029. Do you just like have a trailer kind of showing it, just be like, yeah, this
I
is
think you do,
coming,
man.
because it's been what, 2018, so that's been 8 years. You know, like is it finally time to basically be like, all right, Todd, get somebody to do a trailer, and get that finished. Because I'm trying to think of other Bethesda game, other teams like Blade. I could see it being there. Machine Games, it's like Indiana Jones is just 2024. Like I don't think Wolfenstein 3, if they're even currently working on it, which they may or may not be, you know,
They are. They're
well they
working on
are, but it's
Wolfenstein 3.
probably not in a place to show it.
No,
Um,
probably not.
and then you think of like they just shipped Doom. I guess you could have like the Doom expansion show up. Like the Doom Dark
That is
Ages
true.
expansion could potentially be there. Especially
I
if
think
it's
that's the
like
thing,
true
yeah.
as like if it's really like kind of the like, oh my god, it's a full blown sequel DLC kind of thing. Maybe that could potentially show up there.
I
Trying
think
to
I think that'll show up there, yeah. I
yeah.
haven't you know what? I've got to admit, I haven't finished the base game yet.
Mm.
I haven't finished the base game. Like I don't know what it was. There was just I did that dragon level and I was just like, oh, I can't be bothered to play this. I'll play it later. And then I just never did.
You got to the dragon level and stopped playing it.
Yeah, I fucking hate the Dragon Man. Like all the levels which take you out of being Doom Guy, completely
What about the
unnecessary, bro.
levels where the mini sort of thing where you play as the mech?
I played, yeah, the mech isn't as bad as the dragon, but I just think they overthought that shit, bro. They overthought that shit. Like, I don't want to be a mech. I don't want to be a dragon. Just let me be fucking Doom Guy, please. Just let me be Doom Guy. I really like the shield. I really like all the new weapons, like that fucking thing, that gun that shoots fragments of people's skulls. Great,
It's a pretty great gun.
but the dragon, shit. Fuck the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon stuff isn't. I mean,
I
those
hate the
those
dragon, bro.
sequences aren't very. They're not long at all. They're very. They're kind of
Yeah, but why have them at all? If they're
I
not
don't
long
know.
if they're not long because they're bad, why have them at all, bro? That's my argument.
I mean, I wouldn't say
I hate that dragon,
they're
man. I hate
bad,
that dragon, bro.
but I could see
They're
why
bad, bro.
people think like, well, why is this needed in a Doom game? I get it, like for sure. And like,
The
yeah, I
whole
get.
they misunderstood like Doom 2016. The whole apology tour that was Doom 2016 was like basically like let's go back to basics because Doom 3, I actually quite like Doom 3, but people were like it overthought itself. It wanted to be a survival horror game, whatever. Let's take Doom back to basics, and Doom 2016 did exactly that. And then since then, they've been overthinking it again, which is the same mistake they made with Doom 3. You know? I don't know. I'm rambling again, but like, I don't want to be a fucking dragon. If there's any dragon bullshit in the DLC, I won't buy. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, well, do they even care though? You didn't even finish the game.
I don't know if they care, bro, but I don't care. I don't care if they don't care because I won't play a fucking dragon. I don't want to be a dragon.
Okay, all right.
I don't
Well,
want to be a dragon, bro.
do you think is there any secret like games like Ninja Gaiden 4 last year came out of nowhere and Xbox is publishing it and then it released that year? You know, there are some still games left over that they haven't announced from like the Xbox Global Publishing arm. You know, like Spyro being one of them. Do you think there's any others that potentially show up with like surprise announcements? Because you look at Xbox's fall, or even like after June, the showcase, you have, you know, Halo, Gears, and Fable. You have Call of Duty. You potentially probably have Minecraft Dungeons, because I don't think Minecraft Dungeons will be out by June. So Minecraft Dungeons 2 will be somewhere in that time frame. Is there even like room for anything else releasing this year at that point? Probably not, right?
I mean, I think like probably the showcase will be dominated by games that are launching this year and games that are launching next year, obviously. But like if they do want to like create a hype moment, maybe they show a little bit of Elder Scrolls like we discussed. But as for wild cards, I don't know, man. Um, what studios do we not know much about? I mean, there's Ninja Theory. We don't know what they're doing next, although it's almost certainly Helldivers. I mean, not
Helldivers?
Helldivers, not Helldivers. The other one, Hellblade.
Uh
It's
huh.
almost certainly Hellblade 3, but I think like from what I've heard, Hellblade 3 will be more of an actual video game. So like rather than a walking simulator, so I'm gonna assume that that's gonna be way that's maybe like we don't see that for a couple of years yet. Also, like that Project Mara thing that people were hoping would be a thing is not a thing. Project Mara is not a thing, at least for now. Um, so don't expect to see Project Mara. That was literally just a concept, and it's not actually being in development right now. But that said, there is like Compulsion. Compulsion actually had early concepts for a game that they were going to work on after midnight. I can't remember what it was codenamed now. I think was it codenamed something with a V? It wasn't Vonnegut. It was Velvet or something. Project Velvet. I can't remember. That's an old code name. I don't know if they're going to be working on that, but like they've got like ideas for days. Compulsion. So maybe we see like something from Compulsion. Maybe like conceptually. Maybe I doubt
What
it,
about
but I think if there's anything they show that's 2 years out, if there's anything they show that's 2 years out, it's probably going to be the Elder Scrolls, I would
yeah?
imagine.
What about third parties? Let me Persona 6 perchance, per maybe.
Perchance, maybe Persona 6.
You know,
I
a Square Enix game of some kind.
I was gonna say I'm gonna cope Final Fantasy 17. I'm gonna cope that
Seven. You
shit.
think Final Fantasy 17?
I'm gonna cope it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cope it.
I I think there's a much
I'm
better
coping
chance
it, bro.
Like if you're talking about a brand new entry and a storied RPG franchise, I would put my money on Persona 6 over the Final Fantasy 17.
Do you think we see something from that new Yakuza Studio game? I can't remember what it's called now, but it'll look fucking amazing.
The one that was just at the partner preview.
Yeah, I can't
I mean,
remember what it was called, but
I
it
would,
looked really good.
I don't know because they're doing the whole Xbox Presents thing, aren't they? Next month or this month?
Oh
Or
yeah,
no, it was
yeah,
like in
yeah.
May.
Good point.
So
Good point.
would
Good
would
point.
it be there at 3 Xbox shows? Like here's the one at the preview, and here's one in March, and here's one at the showcase. I don't know. It seems kind of like overkill. Unless the game coming this year? Have they said? I don't know if they have
I
or
don't
not.
know. I don't know. I don't know.
What about
Stranger Than Heaven. Stranger Than Heaven is
Stranger
cool.
Heaven? What about okay? What about this one? A lot of rumors surrounding Witcher DLC.
Ooh, Witcher DLC.
You know, do we get an announcement of the Witcher 3 DLC at the Xbox show?
Witcher DLC and also Xbox Play Anywhere announcement.
I'm just saying, you know, is that a possibility?
Well, I'm gonna mix it up now, Rand. I'm gonna mix it up.
Okay.
What if there's a smidgen of hardware at this event? Maybe we get an Xbox Elite controller Series 3 at this
A
event.
smidgen.
Because typically they don't do hardware at these events unless it's major. Because they did the Xbox Ally at this event, you know.
Yes,
So
they
like,
did.
I would consider the Xbox Elite 3 pretty major, you know. So maybe we get an Xbox Elite 3 at this event because I've heard it's been ready for a while actually.
Well, do you think we've learned more about Project Helix, or is that too far? I mean, I would say is it too far out? But I mean, they've already announced it. I mean, I'm not saying we'll get a look at it, but do
I could show the
we?
interface
I
or
mean, we
something.
could probably get a trailer, being like the monster that eats the monsters that eats the monsters for breakfast type of thing.
The what the fuck?
What?
Monster that eats monsters that eat monsters for
Yeah, because
breakfast.
remember,
Oh
Scorpio
man,
was
Kareem Chowdhury, man.
yeah, it wasn't
What a
wasn't
bro. What a bro.
it was
Kareem
the
Chowdhury was fucking
it was a
awesome, man.
monster, right? Scorpio was a monster, and then Series X was the monster that ate monsters for breakfast, right? Or something like that.
Yep.
So this is the
Kareem
monster that
Chowdhury
eats
is
the
awesome,
monsters
man.
that eats the monsters for breakfast.
Have you
So
seen Adventure Time?
no, I have not.
Have you not seen? You're not seen Adventure Time? Are you
I mean, I
maybe
know
too
what it
old?
is, but I've never seen an episode.
Adventure Time is really good, and it's just like there's like escalating monsters, and basically what you just said reminded me of Adventure Time, where there's just like infinitely escalating monsters until they're like battling gods in the metaverse kind of thing, the multiverse rather. I suppose it's like Marvel or anything like that, but I don't know. Yeah, monsters that eat monsters for breakfast. I miss Kareem. Kareem is awesome, and I'm sad that he's not on Xbox anymore. A bunch of people have left Xbox recently. I don't know if you've have we talked about this on the
We
previous
might have.
show, but
Who's left? Tell us.
like Haiyan Zhang left.
The head of the
And
AI gaming for AI,
uh,
right?
she was the head of Xbox gaming AI stuff,
Which is
and
funny
I know
because
everyone hates AI, but
Take Two just literally fired their head of AI, and that whole situation. You saw that,
which
right?
is weird. Yeah, it's weird.
All in the
But
same time, where
Haiyan
like
said,
where Sony buys an AI company.
"Oh yeah, Sony bought an AI company,"
Yeah.
but like Haiyan said, on Twitter that basically, you know, it was just a new job and it wasn't like anything nefarious. Like from what I know, like basically Netflix offered her a bunch of money. Like Netflix is doing a gaming AI thing, but like Netflix is just so Netflix's gaming ethics have been terrible so far. So I don't know. Maybe we see Hayan back at Xbox at some point. She's awesome, man. I met her. I met her a bunch of times, but it does seem like a lot of people are leaving Xbox at the minute, and like whether it does feel like maybe they don't fit in with Ash's vision for what Xbox is going to be. And I will say this, round, like I know that Xbox has games cooking. Xbox has like amazing games cooking, and I'm not even slightly worried about the games. What I'm interested in with regards to Xbox is what hints can we get about Ash's vision for Xbox from the Xbox showcase? Can you imagine this, Rand?
Okay.
Can you
Lay it
imagine
out
if
for me,
Asher
Jez.
says,
Lay it out.
yeah, I'm going to lay it out for you. I'm going to
Right.
lay it out for you. Can you imagine at the Xbox showcase, they announce that XYZ games will be at least timed exclusive to Xbox as
Oh.
some kind of feature.
Okay.
and they like, and they ascribe that decision to Asher.
Okay.
Is that something like, do you think would help Xbox at this point? What is Asher's vision for Xbox?
Well, I mean, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? What is the vision? What
Sure is.
does the future look like? We have short-term decisions that have been made that definitely seem like they're trying to focus on the fans and trying to focus on the console, right? Like the update that they pushed 2 weeks into it. I mean, her whole introduction to the Xbox community was the return of Xbox, which you asked directly about. It was like, well, what does that even mean? What does the return of Xbox mean? Did it leave at some point and needs to come back? Her replying to a person about exclusives and saying, hear you, which doesn't mean anything other than like, I hear you. But like the idea of like even acknowledging the tweet, like you could see the tweet but not acknowledge it, but deciding to acknowledge it, giving people hope that, oh, well, maybe they decided that like actually going the multi-platform way was a mistake and maybe they pull back on it. Bringing back FanFest makes it seem like she's has her eye towards the fans and like, you know what I mean? Because it seems like, oh, well, the previous administration didn't care because they actually got rid of FanFest. Asha comes back and, oh, what do you know? Like FanFest is back. But not only is it back, it's actually going on a worldwide tour, baby. We're going to all these other cities and all these other places that, we didn't do it before. So yeah, I mean, it definitely would. I'm trying to think of a way where it was like you could say that at a showcase and being like, how do you, like, she takes the stage and is like, and just moving forward, just know that all Xbox exclusives or Xbox games have a minimum 6. It's just kind of, is that something you want to like say at a thing where like,
maybe like if I was gonna do it, if I was like head of Xbox PR and marketing and I was gonna do it, I'd just be like, I'd do the fucking Xbox exclusive thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it. I'd just imply it with that Xbox exclusive.
So like the deep voice and stuff. Yeah.
The deep voice, the deep cinematic voice,
but then,
from like the Dune trailers and shit.
See, there's a lot of this going around about. I mean, we've talked about it and stuff, like the idea of them doing this again. And I guess like, when there is this rumor that is persisting online about the idea of Gears EDAY being exclusive to Xbox and PC, obviously, because PC, that's whatever. Like because basically what this means is being the Xbox exclusive means not on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6. That's truly what it means. Doesn't mean like Xbox exclusive, like, oh, we're not going to put the game on Steam. Although, they could. Sometimes it makes you wonder, like, why won't they double? Like, maybe they should triple down on BattleNet and just release their games on BattleNet and their own launchers that they own, and not release it on Steam. But maybe that would just be too detrimental to their business of not, I know they've released some of their games on BattleNet, like Avowed and stuff, but then they haven't released others. So maybe they have data there that shows like the people aren't interested in buying those type of games from BattleNet, so it's not really. But either way, like that's neither here nor there. I don't think they're gonna abandon Steam. So like realistically, when they say, oh, Xbox games are exclusive or timed exclusive, they basically just mean it's not on PlayStation 5. Because honestly, I don't think Xbox fans would care if the games came to Switch too. They wouldn't. I've told you this from the very beginning, that if it was like Xbox was putting their games on Switch but not PlayStation, the people wouldn't feel as strongly about it as they do. It's strictly because it's on PlayStation that gets people all riled up, because I think they're too similar. Where like you could even sort of be like, oh, like such and such games on Switch 2 is like, well, that's my handheld experience for this Xbox game. Well, before Xbox has their handheld or whatever, but I don't know. What do you personally think about this idea? Because like it's currently stems from Gears EDAY. There's people out there saying that it's going to be at least at minimum a timed exclusive game for Xbox. Now, whether it could be like a Forza Horizon 6 situation where like the port's just not ready in time, so it's by default an exclusive for X amount of years, or if it's really a change in strategy. I don't know. I mean, if you had to guess at this point, what do you think?
Well, she said the plan's the plan until it's not the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of like I've said this before on the show, right? If Microsoft has a spreadsheet which suggests that going multi-platform is bad for business, they'll change tactic. It's just about what the spreadsheet says, man. I don't know if you saw like I can't remember if it was Bloomberg or the Information or one of these other websites, but there was a report recently that was like Microsoft's looking to replace Amy Hood, you know, as a finance guru or whatever. And I think like if that is true, like Amy Hood has kind of been someone who's very much prioritized the spreadsheet over the human element. And I've written articles about this, like the telemetry, like whether it's Windows, whether it's this, whatever. And I don't know if you saw this, Rand, but Linux hit 5% on Steam survey for the first time, you know, as a gaming platform. And like big influential websites like PC Gamer, they keep pushing Linux as an alternative to Windows. And that has to be like something that's sending alarm bells throughout the Microsoft leadership, whether it's Satya, whether it's like one of these other figures and stuff like that. It's kind of like it's it's gotten to the point where people just hate Windows. Like look at all the headlines that were generated when even if it wasn't true, the Artemis at Microsoft Outlook uh discourse, was a whole fucking thing. Like Microsoft has earned itself a reputation for like nickel and diming, bad software, and putting customers last at for share in favor of shareholders. Like all the AI slop that's in all their apps right now. Like even Microsoft Paint has AI features in it which don't really do anything useful. You know, so if like Microsoft is moving to a place where they need to prioritize customers again, and we've seen like other big publicly traded companies sort of go through these cycles of ebb and flow of shareholders first and customers first. We've seen EA do this repeatedly. Like EA have gone through these cycles of like we'll prioritize shareholders and go hard on transactions, and then they piss off their users to the point where they have to focus on customers again for a little while, and they do a lot of like fan favorite kind of things for a little while until like everyone stops noticing, and then they go back to prioritizing shareholders for a while. Microsoft's in that sort of situation now where they have to prioritize customers a while because everyone's so pissed off at them. Um, it's kind of like I think Asher Sharma is coming in at a point where they need to prioritize customers for a little while, whether it's on Windows, whether it's on Xbox, and that could hopefully result in some like positive changes for the platform. But part of me wonders like, is it all just folly? You know, is it all just folly? Because I said this on Xbox Two Ultimate this week, and like Xbox Two Ultimate is exclusive to Patreon, but you know, it's pertinent to discuss these things here too. One of the things I think like is affecting the game industry all up is this kind of existential threat of Roblox and this like mentality that younger kids in the Gen Alpha and younger Gen Z cohorts, they just want to play Roblox all day. They want to play Roblox because not only is it a gaming experience, but it's also a social media experience, you know. And I kind of feel like no matter what Xbox announces at its showcase, that's going to be for us. The Xbox showcase, Rand, is going to be for us, the core fans.
Okay.
But I think really what Asher's been brought in for is figuring out like some kind of innovation that can win over the younger audience. The audience that's grown up with social media expectations, you know. So I'm kind of like, I know that Xbox is going to deliver fantastic games, but I just want to know if we catch a glimpse of what Asher Sharma's plan is for the younger audience. Because I think that's how you make Xbox a healthy business for the next 25 years. And Rand, they keep talking about the next 25 years. I don't know if you noticed in the Xbox Fanfest article, but they said like there was like a sentence that said something like We wanna celebrate the fans who've been with us for the past 25 years as we look ahead to the next 25 years. I feel like
I feel like that's a standard boilerplate sort of thing for any company celebrating any
they
sort of
have to be thinking
milestone.
about that shit, bro.
I'm
They
not
have to
saying
be thinking about that
they
shit, bro.
aren't thinking about the next 25 years, but I don't necessarily think they're tipping their hand and then in that sort of thing, because I'd expect any company who's celebrating like that sort of milestones, like we want to celebrate it with
It
the
is an
people who have
issue,
been
bro.
here for these
It's an
30 years
issue.
and the people that'll be here for the next 30 years. It's I've seen that in so many different like celebratory posts.
I disagree, man. I disagree.
Look,
I think Microsoft is terrified of what the next
I'm sure
25
there's a
years
lot
look.
of companies terrified of looking at the landscape and being like, "Oh shit! Like, what's this gonna look like? You know, how's it gonna play out?" I'm sure. I'm absolutely, yeah, for sure. But okay, thinking cap on then. If you how what could they do in the time frame that she's been there to like go younger or whatever, or address the younger audience? I don't think there's been enough time to even
There's not
so
there's not
like
been enough time, but I think one thing that she will have looked at immediately is how well Xbox's social platforms perform. You know, like for example, if I'm in World of Warcraft, there's a text chat in the bottom left corner, and
yeah.
I can text someone who's playing Diablo. I can text someone who's playing Overwatch. I can text someone who's playing Hearthstone, for God's sake, you know, right from within the game. And that's the same on Roblox. On Roblox, no matter what game someone's playing on Roblox, they can text someone who's in one of the other games. And that's kind of like, it seems like such a little thing, the ability to text people from within the game. But I think that's really what like the younger audiences expect now is the ability to text their friends from within the game. And I noticed that like when I was playing Fall Guys recently, Rand. I've been playing
Okay.
Fall Guys. Yeah, I've been playing Fall Guys recently. Fall Guys has like Epic Games integration on Xbox, right? And it has a whole social system outside of Xbox Live where you can text people using the Epic Game Store within Fall Guys on Xbox. You can bypass all of Xbox's systems and just text people if they've got an Epic Games account. I kind of feel like that's kind of like the angle that I think Microsoft will go for. And that's why Asher ultimately got hired, because if you remember, Asher's tenure is Facebook Messenger and the social media thing. Like my duty 151 says in chat, texting across games isn't a game changer. I disagree. I disagree. I think like it's such a small thing, but I think like the ability to socialize is exactly what the younger cohorts really, really want. You know. So I think like this is why like Xbox is split right now into the Matt Booty org, which will deliver the games that we want as core Xbox gamers, people in their like 30s and 40s and 50s. And then like you've got Asha Sharma, who's a bit younger, who understands the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha and the Gen Beta cohorts coming up. She's got Facebook Messenger experience. She understands that universe, the community building universe, and she'll work on that part of it. That's kind of what I want to see from the Xbox showcase. But I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but I do think like all this stuff is important, man, from a platform perspective. Because I think this is even important for PlayStation, Nintendo around. Because I think like these are existential problems which are affecting Nintendo and affecting PlayStation. I don't know if you saw Rand, but Nintendo share price is down 30% in just 6 months.
That doesn't sound
30%
great.
in six
That
months.
doesn't sound great at
No, it
all.
doesn't. No. Sony's is down something like 20% in 6 months. And Microsoft's is down too. Like, to be fair, most stocks are down, right? But for a variety of reasons. But like gaming stocks are getting battered right now because the industry isn't growing. It's almost like the kids don't care about it. It's almost like the kids just want to log on to fucking TikTok or YouTube or Instagram and not want to play games at all.
Or spend their
Asher
money in
Sharma.
OnlyFans, bro.
or spend their money on OnlyFans or Polymarket or one of these other
Yeah.
platforms. I think like what Ash has been brought in to identify how we can grow gaming as a platform. And I don't think Phil had the expertise or the youth to understand that, you know. I don't know. I don't know, man.
You know, if Xbox really wants to reach the youngins, there's only
The
one
youngin?
there's only one game they have to bring back to do that. They'd
What's
win the
that?
gen. 1 versus
Bad joke.
100. The youth
I mean,
craves 1 versus 100.
the youth.
The youth,
I mean, that's
the
part of it,
industry
man.
craves it. Live game show. Bring it back.
I do think these social media adjacent kind of experiences are exactly what they need to do. They need to like take the training wheels off and just do crazy shit. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
I mean, you probably are wrong.
Guy Butch 3 would say, no, Rand, the children yearn for the mines.
They do yearn for the mines as well, but they also yearn for game shows.
That's true.
I tell you what, I don't even know. Do the youngins even yearn for the game shows? They might find that shit uber cringe. So
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows what the young kids want?
Sir Riffs a lot says Game Pass OnlyFans partnership.
Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Now, how an excitement level? How are you? What's your excitement looking like for Gears EDAY? We haven't seen much. We haven't heard much outside that one trailer. Gears is your, you always say it's one of your favorite franchises. It's coming back. They even use the word "fuck" in their tweet. You don't see that very often from Xbox.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
You didn't see that?
Oh damn! No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they tweeted out. I forget the exact wording, but it was like, "We're back" or something, and you better lock the fuck in, or something like that. But what do you think, Jez? How's your excitement level for EDAY?
My excitement level's pretty high. Like, I don't know a ton about it, and again, I haven't been really researching it because I want to be surprised too. But one thing I do know is that they've rebuilt the whole thing, like new animations, new code. Like it's like a lot of the Gears games, they reuse previous animations. They reuse previous animation rigging, skeletons, animations, that kind of stuff, and code. But this Gears EDAY has been rebuilt from the ground up, so it should have a different feel. So I'm pretty excited about that alone. But I kind of expect the campaign to be solid. But I want to know and you know me, Rand, I like my live service games.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what they're doing with the live service because I don't like Gears PvP purely because I'm really bad at it.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're doing with Horde mode because Gears 5 Horde mode was disappointing. It was disappointing, man. I want to see EDAY's Horde mode. I want to see I want to be able to turtle up in a corner and have tons of turrets and play it as a tower defense game and not I don't know, whatever Gears 5 was. I don't know. But I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know if you saw, Rand. JD Phoenix is
I did. I was about to bring that up. He said Gears 6 was considered before Gears EDAY, and he said I hope they get back to it, but I love the guys and just want them to make a game they feel nails the Gears experience everyone loves. That'd be awesome. And hey, if that leads back to the trilogy, happy days. And then he said, we did Gears 4 and 5, and there was a suggestion that maybe there could be a Gears 6, but the team wanted to try something new as I understand it. And honestly, it looks great. Can't wait to play it. Now, remember what your good old buddy Rand said back when they revealed Gears EDAY. What year was that? 2024? I think it was. Yeah. Remember when they revealed it and I said to you, we're never going to see Gear 6? Because why would we? And I think as time goes on, I think your boy Rand looking more and more correct. Am I not?
I hate that you're probably right. I hate that so bad. But I feel you can't just ignore what happened in Gear 6.
You absolutely can.
5, sorry?
You absolutely could ignore it all. Absolutely.
You can't, man.
Yes, you can.
I cried at the end of Gears 5, bro.
No, you didn't.
I did. I
No,
swear
you
to God, I
didn't.
cried. I had tears in my eyes,
No,
bro.
you did. No,
I
no,
did.
no,
I
no, no,
swear to
no,
God.
no.
I did. I swear. I'm
You
not
had
lying. I
why did you have
swear to
tears
God.
in your eyes? What happened?
Fucking Jack. That's Jack, bro.
Oh, Jack.
I won't spoil it. But Jack, man. I was sad at the end of Gears 5, bro.
Oh, man.
It was cool as shit, man. They can't just throw that away.
I mean,
And the decision that you make, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but I teared up, bro.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be getting clearer and clearer that I was right.
They'll go back to it eventually. I don't care.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
I don't care what you say.
Because
we're going back to that shit.
The only way they ever go back to it is if it's a DLC in one of the games. It won't be its own like thing.
Bro, like there's only so much EDAY that can do. Eventually,
no, there's not.
There's
plenty of stuff they could do to lead up to Gears 1. And if these games are more if these games are better received and sell better and do better numbers than the previous games, like why would you ever go back and be like, well, let's actually go back to Gears 6 15 years after Gears 5? Because game development takes a long time now. This isn't like how it used to be, where you used to get a Gears game every 2 or 3 years. And for the longest time, I've said, it's like, you know what? Why don't you put Gears on hiatus? I was always in favor of the Coalition let me finish what I was going to say. Of the Coalition making something new. Because remember, there were reports the beginning of like this generation that they were working on something new potentially, and it was like, good, let them work on something new, because I would love to see their expertise on a brand new franchise, and let people miss Gears, because you go back and it's like 2006 Gears 1, 2008 Gears 2, 2011 Gears 3, 2013 Gears Judgment, 2015 Gears Ultimate, 2016 Gears 4, 2019 Gears 5, right? I mean, you had 7 games in a span of, I don't know, 13 years? And it's just like, you never gave people the opportunity to miss it, because there was always one on the horizon. It's very much like even the Forza Horizon franchise. There were just constant games, and the popularity of the franchise declined as it went on. But it was like, well, maybe the best remedy for it is to give people the opportunity to actually miss it and being like, man, I really miss Gears. And they finally did it. Like, you went from 2019 to 2024 without anything Gears related, really. And then it was like, oh, here's Gears EDAY, and people got it. I watched reaction trailers for Gears EDAY when that shit got announced, and everybody was like blown away and was like so happy, because you're playing to nostalgia at that point, because everybody kind of remembers where they were in 2020 or 2006 when they played Gears 1 for the first time, like maybe even the first true next gen title of that generation.
Gears 1 was 2006.
Yeah, because the 360 came out in 2005 and Gears was the next year.
Jesus.
So it's 2006, but everybody remembers where they were, how they felt when they played it. It was a seminal moment in gaming and a seminal moment in a lot of people's lives. And so they look back really fondly on the franchise, and to bring back Dom and Marcus, who maybe are the best sort of co-op tandem in all of gaming, it brings back those feelings of how people felt back then. And yeah, it's nostalgia bait in that sense, because it's like you just kind of are trying to recapture, that moment. Maybe like you were 20 years younger, or you didn't have a lot of responsibility, and you were like a kid, or you were in high school, or you were in college, and you could do whatever. But now you have a job and you can't play as much. You're just like, oh man, I remember those days, right? So what I'm saying is, like, I'm glad they gave Gears a chance to be missed, and I'm glad that they're going back to, the the characters that made it like the franchise. Because man, like Gears was the franchise back. You know, you can always say Halo is the bigger franchise, and it is. It always will be. But I mean, Gears brought something special to the 360 and Xbox in general that the other companies didn't have. They couldn't replicate. And sure, you know, Gears had been copied to death from all the different, you know, its gameplay that it brought forward, like the cover shooter stuff. So it's been done to death. But you look how long it's going to take to get here, and then okay, well, if it's successful, you're just going to do a Gears EDAY 2. And then if that, you know, if successful, you're going to do Gears EDAY 3, and before you know it, it's 2038. Because these games take... Well, yeah, because you look at like 2026, then you probably figure for another 4 or 5 years, it's 2030, and then another game, you're looking at 2035, 2036 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we're past that situation where the games take 2 or 3 years, and we're in this thing now where they take 4, 5, 6. So you're getting to like the mid 2030s, and then at that point, like Gears 5 is almost 20 years old at that point, because that's 2019. Why would they ever go back to it? Why would they? You know, like all the voice actors would be really old. Yeah, bro. I'm just preparing you for that. You're never gonna get a conclusion in that thing unless there's some DLC expansion in one of the Gears EDAY games. And you know what? That's great.
You know what? What if the Gears 6 conclusion is a tactics game?
Hey, whatever.
Gears Tactics 2, baby! Mm-hmm. I have to say this, Rand.
Yeah.
My favorite Gears game is Gears Tactics.
Oh.
I don't care if I'm like in the beyond the minority. Gears Tactics was...
You're not a real Gears fan then. I see.
I fucking love Gears Tactics, bro.
Yeah, sure you did.
I loved it, bro.
Sure.
I played it twice.
Yeah, sure.
I played it twice, bro.
Sure.
I played it twice. I played it on PC and I played it on Xbox. Gears Tactics was awesome. And the fact that there's probably never going to be a Gears Tactics 2 breaks my heart, bro.
Hey, well, if it was successful, there would be.
Yeah.
It wasn't, so there ain't. That's all you can say about it.
One thing I don't like about you is that you always bully me with reality. Why do you have to bring reality into the conversation, Rand?
Here's the thing, though. You got a game that you really love. That should be enough, right? You love Gears Tactics, and it was great.
I want sequels. I want Halo Wars 3.
You need to have
convinced... I want Halo Wars 3. I want Gears Tactics 2. Why do I not get the games that I want? Why do you always get the games that you want?
Because unfortunately, you're like capping for these a genre that hardly does well anymore in this day and age. Nobody really cares about RTSs or tactical turn-based games. Although, did you see this? Supposedly one of the new Star Wars games is like XCOM but better. I think was the tagline I saw, or the headline or something. The new Star Wars game is like a turn-based XCOM game, but like so much better than XCOM. I'm like, oh really? Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe Gears Tactics and Halo Wars just came out at the wrong time. Maybe if it was a generation previously that really played those games, they'd be like, oh yeah, but RTS has had its time, and I don't know. I don't know why they aren't as successful as they once were, right? Like StarCraft was one of the biggest games franchises out there, but
StarCraft is so good.
I don't know about RTSs anymore.
So good.
Let me get a couple of these super chats here. Okay.
The issue behind Gears Tactics is that it didn't have a sort of management meta game. Like these kind of games usually have a management meta game, but Gears Tactics didn't. And I spoke to someone at Splash Damage, and they said they were like, it was intended that it would have a management meta game, but it got cut because of budget cuts or whatever.
And that game was a long game.
I fucking love that game, bro. I loved it, man.
Let me get to super chats. We got Wagerman that says, "Hey champs, this is the year, Rand. Come to FanFest. Lots planned. The community wants you there. Xbox doing it right this year." Sorry, Wagger, not coming this year. Probably will never be. Just one of those things. Hope you have a great time, though. Hope everybody does go to FanFest and everybody goes to SGF and all that stuff, enjoys their time there. But alas, will not be for Rand. Just James says, "Did you hear that Final Fantasy 14 is more hours in than World of Warcraft?" I did hear that Final Fantasy 14 is the better MMO than World of Warcraft. Yes, that is true, at least from what I was told. Is that true, Jez? Final Fantasy 14 the better MMO? I think so, right?
I think the reason that Final Fantasy 14 has more hours than World of Warcraft is because, like, there's nothing to do in Final Fantasy 14, so you just kind of, like, stand around in the major cities and just wait around for things to do. Whereas, like, World of Warcraft, like, there's things to do and then you log off, man.
Right. We have glitchy texters that says, "Hey, gents, with the return of FanFest, do you think Xbox will continue to show Switch and PS5 logos at the show?" Interesting. So you want to talk about things that Asha could do immediately that could, I'm not going to say have an impact, but could show something? It's the logo situation. But then we just saw a partner preview that had all the logos. But then you wonder how much of that was already completed anyways. I mean, we've talked about the logo situation. I don't know who it serves. It seems like they're just doing it because it helps the developers, which I guess is a good reason to do it. But Nintendo and PlayStation aren't showing you the same courtesy. And nobody's going to say to them that they hate developers. And it's just Xbox doing it simply because I don't know. What was the reasoning for it? Oh, we didn't want to like lie about where our games would be. And I understand, like, oh, well, our games are on all these platforms, so if you are watching our thing, we're going to show you where it's at. But if Asha was like wanted to make an immediate change, she could pull those logos and get people speculating about what that meant for a long time.
I think that for me, it's like the visibility of wanting to be competitive. Like, if you're showing those logos, it kind of suggests to me you don't give a shit about being competitive. You know, I don't know if that's fair or not, but that's kind of what it says to me and what I suppose it says to the casual audience. I don't know.
We have Chris, who says, "Jez, my friends who play Last Sea of Thieves have told me that the game is getting much smaller updates lately. Is Rare working on other things? I thought Everwild was their only other project."
Everwild's cancelled, isn't it?
Everwild was cancelled, yes, last year.
I would presume that, like, Rare's looking at a future where beyond Sea of Thieves. Like, I would assume that Sea of Thieves is, like, kind of done all it can do. But I don't know what Rare's working on beyond Sea of Thieves, but...
Is it time for Sea of Thieves 2?
Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say. Like,
but I mean, wouldn't that break the mold of all these... But wouldn't that break the mold of all these live service games actually having a sequel? I mean, the reason why they keep the same thing so they don't have to do, like, right? Like, it's...
But, like, maybe there's something fundamental about Sea of Thieves engine that requires a sequel. Like, if it was me, like, the logical progression of Sea of Thieves is, like, base building. Like, let me build, like, a base on an island and that kind of thing. You know? Beyond, like, or, like, more granular shipbuilding, maybe. Like, the ship is the base. Something like that. In my head, that's kind of, like, the logical next step of Sea of Thieves. I kind of feel like maybe it needs a new engine in order to deliver that. But I don't know. I'm not a dev. But Sea of Thieves, like, Rare, at least, has to be looking beyond... They have to be looking beyond that game. Because it's got a finite runway, I would assume. I don't know.
See, that was sort of the thought I had with the cancellation of Everwild and the cancellation of Project Blackbird, which was the Elder Scrolls Online thing, was you can't sustain Rare off of one. Like Sea of Thieves, it had the resurgence when the PS5 version came out. Maybe it still could have a resurgence a little bit with the Switch 2 version, but I don't know where any of these Xbox ports of Switch games are at yet. Like, we got like the Indiana Jones announcement. I think did we get a Doom announcement from them? But it definitely seemed like a lot of the Switch 2 announcements were for Bethesda Studios. And I don't know, like I sort of felt with how they talked about it, like we'd see a lot of more Xbox games on Switch 2, and they just haven't materialized yet. And with the cancellation of Everwild, I'm like, okay, well, Sea of Thieves isn't going to last forever. And it's already sort of seen a downturn even after it came out on PlayStation. And I'm not necessarily sure it's going to reach back to those heights. It's like, well, at least they have another game coming out, Everwild, which could be a boon for them. And then they canceled it. So it's like, well, do they have another game in the works or that you're going to move to? And then I thought the same thing about what is the studio? The studio that does Elder Scrolls Online. That's the
ZeniMax Online Studios.
ZeniMax Online. It's like, okay, well, they're working on Elder Scrolls Online and how successful that game is. But like their next project is just on the horizon. And then to be like, okay, we got 2 of these games, we're good. Like people are going to fall off the Elder Scrolls Online thing and they'll move to this one. But then they canceled it. And I'm just like, well, what's the future look like for that studio in particular? Because they had worked on that game for 7 years or whatever it is. And it's like, well, any sort of game they make next would probably take another 5 years. Is Elder Scrolls going to be like viable for another 5 years? And it's not like there's a TV show like Fallout, which is helping, numbers and probably revenue for Fallout 76. But also Fallout has all these other, Bethesda has all these other Fallout games that are also doing well. And I guess you could say, well, see, I don't know how that situation works with like the Elder Scrolls single player games and who get the revenue that goes toward that probably goes towards like Todd and his team versus the studio with like the Elder Scrolls Online stuff is for them. And I'm just like, are we in a situation where like those studios might be faced with some big problems in a couple years when the games continue to decline and they don't have any like new release to sort of help them out a little bit? So it makes me sort of worried for them, like worried for Rare.
Yeah.
If like Sea of Thieves keeps on declining, but their next game is still years and years away, or is Sea of Thieves still making enough money? Do they still make enough where it's like, no, we're good for a little bit? I mean, I don't know. What does this say about management that kept Everwild alive for so long? Maybe it should have been canceled years before it actually was, so they could have worked on something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe they do have something, and we just don't know what it is yet. Tyler,
baby,
joined as a new member of the channel. Appreciate you. Enjoyed all the emotes and everything. Let's see. We have Big Afroman. Says, Gears of War Reloaded only sold 300,000 on PlayStation. Do you guys think that the data might make them keep EDAY exclusive? Like PlayStation stopping PC ports since it hurts the brand? Well, I guess you'd have to wonder is what was their expectations? Because that has a lot to do with it. What was the budget of Gears Reloaded, and how much did they expect Gears Reloaded to sell on PlayStation? Now, did they expect like the whole like, oh, Gears on PlayStation, so it's a shoo-in to sell 1 million or 2 million copies? I think that'd be ridiculous, because I think me and Jez even said, I'm not really sure who's really asking for Gears Reloaded, really. Especially in this day and age of, if you're doing like remasters, it sort of need to be remakes. Like I feel like people are like kind of like, I don't know, remasters are kind of just like, oh, you just remastered this, like whatever, who cares? And I sort of also, I mean, I've seen the reports of like Xbox dominating the PlayStation store charts again, the pre-orders and things like Starfield and whatnot. But
I've seen the opposite of that though. Like Marathon Helldive is dominating the Xbox store.
Yeah, well, I mean, true, but keep in mind that I think Gears Reloaded performed as it did because it's an old game. And a lot of PlayStation users probably already played it because they were probably 360 fans back in the day. So could it's we'd have to wonder, did it underperform? I don't know, because I don't know what Microsoft was expecting. Do you think it underperformed with those numbers, Jez? Did you think Microsoft thought, well, Gears Reloaded, that's an easy million on PlayStation?
I mean, it's kind of weird with Xbox and performance metrics because they also like see Xbox Game Pass engagement as
But
part of the performance.
but we're talking specifically about the PlayStation version, not like the performance metrics
Okay,
of a
fair
game
enough.
on Game Pass.
Fair enough. I would presume that like it probably performed. That would have to be insane to think that it performed more than it did, in my opinion. Like it's an old ass game. Like I would presume that anyone who wanted to play it probably played it on one of the other vectors. You know, unless I'm crazy. So I would presume at least that they would have had realistic expectations about how that would have performed. But you know, it's like you always say, Rand, like the games that perform are the games that are like zeitgeist, the games that are games of the now, you
And
know?
Crimson Desert just passed 5 million copies sold. That's definitely in this. I guess that's all I see some people talking about.
Exactly, bro.
Although I see
Exactly.
a lot of people talking about Marathon, but how Marathon's dead and everybody hates it and his game's dying. So I guess the game's in the
Oh yeah, are
alternate
you still playing
zeitgeist.
Marathon?
Oh, dude,
Are you still playing
dude,
Marathon?
yeah. I got like
Really?
6 days in it now. We're doing the cryo stuff this week. We had a great cryo run last night where we finally got into
What
a
the fuck?
vault, our
What
first
the fuck is
vault.
that? What is cryo?
So cryo is a map that is only available on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's basically the end game for Marathon Season 1. It's
Mm-hmm.
where you have to bring in like your best shit. Purple shields, purple backpacks, purple weapons, and
Oh, bro. Can
what?
I just can I get some respect on the fact that World of Warcraft invented that whole blue, green, purple thing?
Sure, whatever. Who cares? World of Warcraft, no respect from you, to you.
World of Warcraft invented that shit,
It
bro.
gets no respect from me. Moving on.
Respect on that name.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so you're on this like big giant map. And man, two of them, like the Outpost map on Marathon and Cryo map, are just they're some of the best maps in multiplayer, man. Like is so you're kind of like in this big map, and there's these like all these spawn points around the outside of the map in these different areas that you spawn in. You got to fight a bunch of AI to get up your security clearance level by finding security cards, and it all kind of leads in towards opening up the middle when you hit security clearance 2, where you go into like control, which is like this big huge area where all the spawn points essentially lead into, so all the teams come into, and then like there's the PvP. But the game's RNG sometimes, where like sometimes you can get to security level 2 really quickly, because you might have more security tags or you might have more terminals to hack. Where last night we had this instance where we couldn't find any more. Like we were like, we need more, and then a team came into our spawn, and we had this like intense battle, which we ended up winning. But like it's a map because only like the best of the best. I don't even want to say the best players, but only the most geared up players play in it on this map because it has the best rewards. Like the vaults on this map have like the gold stuff, the gold weapons, the gold salvage, the gold treasures and things of that nature, the purple stuff. So you need to come into this like map with your best shit. And last night I think we did 3 raids and we won 2 of them. So it was great. It was great killing people and taking their stuff, knowing that they're all pissed off because they lost the best gear. It's great, Jez. It's so great. Lovely feeling.
You're mean. You're mean, bro.
Look, I've
I would
died
never
plenty of
bully
times. I've
someone
died
and
plenty of
steal their
times in
stuff.
that game where people take my stuff, and I never get angry about it.
I would never
Whatever.
steal anyone's stuff. If I played this game, I would be really nice to everyone. I'd give them free
They're not
things,
going to be
and I'd
nice
be
to
really
you. If you want that experience, go play Arc Raiders.
damn.
Yeah, go play Arc
Damn.
Raiders. This is only for the
Damn.
killers. Got to be a killer in this.
Is marathons more? Are you saying marathons more hardcore
Absolutely,
than Arc
100%. 100%.
Oh, damn!
This is someone who's played Arc Raiders for 400 hours. Marathon is much more hardcore. Arc Raiders is a casual game in comparison.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't wait to play Marathon tonight and do more cryo runs because we gotta get into the 6 vaults so we can eventually fight the boss. And we've only done 1 vault, so you gotta get the keys. So you gotta run Outpost to be able to get the keys. But there's always people around.
You know what's more hardcore than Marathon?
What?
World of Warcraft Mythic +10, bro.
Nobody cares about World of Warcraft. Nobody cares.
I got Keystone Hero, bro. That's way more hardcore than Marathon, bro.
We got Captain Chats who says, we were led to believe that it was Satya pushing for changes. This is an Xbox, multi-platform, etc. With Asha reversing changes, was it actually Phil pushing Xbox into a different direction? I guess it depends on how much changes she's going to be. Like, how actual changes. Because, like, I sort of feel like bringing FanFest back is like an easy PRW. It's something that they were probably going to do anyways because it's the 25th anniversary. And, you know, how I know what Xbox PR told you, Jez, about this is an Xbox ad where, like, she personally canceled it. But I sort of feel like the ad campaign had already ran its course, and they were probably going to have a new ad campaign regardless because it's the 25th anniversary. So I felt like it was going to be on the cutting block anyways. And, you know, maybe it's the cynical nature of me and these, like, large corporations, but they're clearly setting up Asha as a person, like, an outsider who wants to bring back the glory of Xbox. Like, that seems to be, like, her story from the very beginning. And what better way to, like, keep the story moving than, oh, this ad campaign that everybody didn't like? Oh, well, she personally canceled it because it didn't feel like Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of, it's like, okay. And then bring back FanFest and all these sort of changes. So then it does make you wonder, like, okay, well, how much is this kind of is the reality, or how much of this, like, is like a picture being painted of her by the PR, right? And then it's like,
I feel that.
How much is actually will be true changes? Like, if they suddenly went and they said, by the way, like what you mentioned when we talked about the showcase of having, oh, what if every game was a 6-month or a year exclusive? Now that would be a significant change, and that would probably be a change that Asa had ushered in, because we clearly know that Phil and Sarah, they were going in the opposite direction. Like, they tried to tippy toe along those lines where it was like, well, it's just 4 games and this isn't a sign of things to come. And then eventually it was a sign of things to come. And then it was like, there's no red lines, and I'm not going to put a game. Like, they tried their hardest to kind of minimize it in the beginning, being like, no, it's just a test. Just data driven. Like, we're going to see, it's just these 4 games, you know, like, and it's not Indiana Jones, even though the next game was Indiana Jones. And it's certainly not Starfield, even though it's Starfield now, a couple years later. But the way they presented it to people was like, oh, remember, because they presented it to us was like, well, we were faced with the choice of either raising the prices to our fans or finding a new audience. And, like, so we decided to do this. But then they ended up raising the prices anyways, or tried to raise the prices. And people
backtrack.
And so it's like, okay, so you tried this, it didn't work. You know, and it's like, okay, I get it, like, business-wise, you spent all this money. It's like, we need to be everywhere because that's just how Microsoft is. Like, they want their products everywhere. I was like, I get it, even though, like, we didn't agree with it. And it was like, I think this is a bad idea. Whatever. But now it's like, okay, well, new leadership is in charge. And new leadership has new ideas about how things should be run. And maybe you've gotten the data from, you know, everything from, like, how the games perform on other platforms, but then how your own platform is performing now with all these games being exclusive. Like, did the combination of Xbox of the multi-platform approach and people thinking, how people think of that and how people consume their media, and especially where they buy their products, did that change with Xbox being multi-platform combined with Game Pass, where people were like, well, they feel like, well, maybe this isn't the platform I want to invest in anymore, so I'm going to make my way to PC and buy things on Steam, or I'm going to buy more stuff on PlayStation, because if a platform can play Wolverine and can also play Fable, when only one of them can play Fable, then the platform that can play them both is the platform I want to invest in, right? And you have all this data. Maybe the data shows that it was the wrong decision, and they could change it. It's just a matter of maybe presenting that data to Satya and Amy Hood, who maybe had, their own thoughts about, because we know Satya didn't want exclusives, right? He said that from the rip. Said that at the ABK trials. If it was up to him, there'd be no exclusives. But the reason they do them is because they weren't the market leader. I mean, he directly said those things, right? And so maybe like all this stuff has happened, and they see the data, and they're like, actually, this is actually bad for our platform not having exclusives, and they pivot, which would entirely be, Asha's decision to do so. The question is, would Satya and Amy Hood be behind that decision because of all the hubbub about them wanting 30%? It's like, well, how do you pull that off if you lose revenue streams if you do that? Plus, a lot of these games like Fable and Gears and stuff, they were built and budgeted with the idea of them selling on PlayStation, right, Jez? You talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, now you have this budget of a game that you expect to sell to a user base of 92 million or whatever it is, and now you're not going to have that because the budget's already been spent. Then it's like, what's more important, the growth of the platform or the success of individual games and studios? That's the sort of the trade-off there. It's like, yeah, sure, a game will make more money by selling to more people. Like, if Nintendo released Mario on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, it'd sell a ton of copies and make a ton of money. More than it ever could just by itself on the Nintendo platform. But does that game being multi-platform hurt Nintendo in ways you couldn't even fathom and dictate at that point in time? And I think that'd be true. There's a reason why people buy Nintendo Switches.
Nintendo's share price is down 30% in 6 months, bro.
Yeah, because maybe they're not happy with, I don't know, the cooling sales of the Switch 2. I mean, but every stock price is down. It's not like it's everyone's up and they're the only ones down, indicating. But watch in 6 months, watch the stock price be up 30% or be flat, dude, basically.
30% when Nintendo is focused on only one thing is an indictment of the console industry. I'm sorry.
Sure, okay.
But you can't assume that the entire stock market is down. You have to look at what Nintendo's business is. It's console gaming, and they're down 30%.
What you eating over there? What you eating? What you munching on?
Schwarzbrot und Käse.
Excuse me? Speak English? What? You have
black bread and cheese.
Black bread and cheese. What the heck is black bread?
It's German bread, bro. It's good. It's good shit. Schwarzbrot. Schwarzbrot und Käse. Schwarzbrot und Käse.
Okay. Is it tasty? Is it good?
It's fucking good shit, bro.
Oh my god.
I will say this about Germany. They've nailed bread. Like, no other country knows bread like Germany knows bread. Germany knows bread like no other country, bro. I've been in Germany for 10 years on and off. Schwarzbrot.
Okay.
Schwarzbrot ist deine beste Brot. Sorry.
I'm just your German's impeccable.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's yummy, bro. It's yummy.
Yeah. We're trying to be professional. No eating on the podcast, Jez. You already play games while we do the podcast. You don't see me playing games. You don't see me eating anything. I'm not doing it, I'm here. I'm fully invested.
You've eaten cookies on the podcast before. I know you have.
Nonsense. Never.
You've eaten cookies on the podcast before. I know you have.
Cookies? No.
Cookies, bro.
Couldn't be me. I mean, I got a Gatorade I'm sipping on over here. Gatorade fruit punch.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
I've got German Stilles Wasser. Natürliches Mineralwasser. There you go.
Mm.
Some German water for you there, bro.
You know what I been drinking a lot of lately? I love my Propel strawberry lemonade. I got this Gatorade because I wasn't feeling good on Thursday and Wednesday or Thursday.
Why aren't we sponsored by Propel?
I don't know, but I started. My brother, when he came in a couple weeks ago, had sparkling ice, and I've never really been a fan of carbonated water. Like, I think my sisters have this stuff called LaCroix, and it's like I've tried it before, but it's like, ugh.
No, Rand. It's pronounced La Croix.
La Croix? Is it La Croix?
La Croix.
Okay.
It's French, bro.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, they've had it before, and it's like, oh, try some. It's water, sparkling water. I'm like, sparkling water, okay. And then I open it up, and it's carbonated, and I was like, that's odd, carbonated water. And then I taste it. I'm like, ooh, this is disgusting. I'll keep to my Propel, and then in some cases my Gatorade. But my brother had this sparkling ice, which is like these long, tall bottles. And it was like sparkling ice, and it was like Lifesaver cherry. I'm like, oh, I like Lifesavers. So I open it up, and it's carbonated. I'm like, oh, it's carbonated. So I drank it. I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. So I went on Amazon.
It's pretty good.
I'm like, okay, do we have any? Like, so I went on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, they got Starburst flavors. Not only they have like regular flavors and stuff, but they got a Lifesaver section and then a Starburst section. I'm like, I like Starburst. I'm like seeing all the different flavors: orange, fruit punch, watermelon, cherry, lemon, like all these different Starburst flavors. And I'm like, you know what? The cheapest one at the time was orange. So let me buy a case of this sparkling ice Starburst orange. Got it. Drank it. And let me tell you, Jez, this shit's so good. 5 calories, no sugar, no carbs, no sodium. And it tastes like the orange tastes like a dreamsicle. And I was just like, oh my God, this is really good. And then I ordered like I ordered like a variety pack where it came with like 4 different flavors. I'm like, oh my God, these are all really good. So now I ordered like some more, so I have like a bunch of sparkling ice here, and I'm like, yeah, got my sparkling ice, got my Propel, got my Gatorade right here. I'm ready to roll. I don't need no bourbon like Jez or whatever you drink.
Bourbon.
You know,
I fucking love bourbon.
You got Spitzel in your mouth or whatever you're eating right now.
I've got Schwarzbrot.
Yeah, Schwarzbrot.
Schwarzbrot. No, that's bread. It means black bread.
Okay.
Schwarzbrot.
Scarcely Relevant member for 73 months says, thanks for the Xbox 2 Ultimate episode this week. Caught up after, and it was the perfect thing to get through the week. Yeah, nice little bite-sized episode. I think it was like almost 2 hours long.
It's 2 hours long. Bite-sized my heart.
Bite-sized for us, I guess.
Yeah.
We also have Nikki who says, Jez, any updates about the prototype remake? About a prototype remake?
Okay, I've got bad news for anyone who's been holding out hope for a prototype game. It doesn't exist.
Oh no.
There is no
people were hanging their hat on that, man.
They were. There is no prototype game currently in development at all whatsoever. As of right now, April 2026, there is no prototype game in development. I'm really sorry. But there is no prototype game that exists. I've seen some YouTubers pushing this narrative that there's a prototype game that exists. There is no prototype game that exists. I've hard confirmed that with absolutely fantastic sources. There is no prototype game. I'm sorry.
So where did these rumors come from? I don't think it came from YouTubers.
I've seen YouTubers push this prototype narrative. Like not in English, like different countries, maybe, but there is no prototype game. I'm sorry.
Man, people
maybe someday, but as of right now, as of speaking, like maybe the best you can hope for is some kind of like backwards compatible game, but there is no new prototype game in development.
Interesting.
Sorry, I've ruined your entire life. There you go.
You're always just.
But at least I've got Schwarzbrot.
Yeah, at least I guess. Yeah, at least you have that, right?
True that.
Yeah. So, what else? What were we talking about? What else should we talk about? State of Decay 3. Let's talk about State of Decay 3, shall we?
Oh yeah, State of Decay 3. So like the big news with State of Decay 3 right now is that there's some kind of public preview, pre-alpha kind of test event
Playtest.
going on.
Did you sign up for it?
I did sign up for it.
Did you get accepted?
Uh, I did not get accepted yet
I see.
because when I signed up, the web page was overloaded with other people trying to sign up.
Mm.
Um, but I did get some sneaky screenshots of people who were in the Discord for it.
Ooh.
Shall I read some of these comments out from the
Sure. Why
Discord?
not? Why not? Why not?
So let's read out some
Are
of
we
these.
breaking some NDAs here, bro? Or what's going on? Well, I mean, no,
I
you didn't.
mean, I haven't signed any
I haven't
NDA,
signed no NDA. I
bro.
don't. Right. What are they
So
saying about State of Decay?
here's one comment from the State of Decay 3 pre-alpha Discord. I've played State of Decay 3 a lot. It's
Okay.
super fun.
Super fun.
Super fun. Blah 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 blah. Let's see what else we got here. Game kicks ass. I can say
Ooh.
confidentially, all the players in the State of Decay 3 council go through withdrawals when the builds are taken away from us.
They're addicts, is what they're saying, huh?
All right. As someone that takes part very seriously in terms of RP headcanon depth and beauty, I have a feeling you'll be very happy with the direction of State of Decay 3 this time around.
Interesting.
Can't give details. Can just say that my base fantasy was fulfilled in each of the bases I visited. Everything has a great feel to it.
Mm.
So basically, this is like, for those who don't know, there's an article up on Windows Central about it. But State of Decay 3 has a closed alpha test right now, and there's a Discord attached to it. And people have been leaking comments from the Discord to me and other content creators. And it sounds like State of Decay 3 is absolutely fantastic. The feedback from the people in the test so far seems to be very, very positive indeed. And it looks like if you go on Windows Central, there's some kind of sign up page for it, which if you link your Discord, you can be considered for access to State of Decay. State of Decay's pre-alpha test. So pretty excited about that. Like I said earlier on the show, State of Decay 3 is going to be fantastic.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. So, 4-player co-op confirmed, right? Which I think was they had that in
Mm-hmm.
State of Decay 2. You know what I
Yeah, one
think?
of the issues with State of Decay 2 was like it had this like tethering circle. So you couldn't move too far away from whoever was the host of the game, but apparently that's like so big now that it's not an issue.
Hmm. Are you? I mean, how badly do you want to get your hands on this?
On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 40.
I mean, that's a pretty high number. You know what would get me to play State of Decay 3? I was thinking, like, what if State of Decay 3 was like an extraction shooter? You know, you went in there and you had to fight off the zombie hordes, but there were other players, and you were fighting for scavenging and items. But if you came across an enemy team, if you killed them and took their stuff, I mean, that would be true to an apocalypse. Yeah, they should do something like that. What
Well,
do you
this
think?
is one of the things in State of Decay 2 was like you do fight human enemies.
Mm.
You fight human enemies quite a lot in State of Decay
No, no,
2.
no. I don't want it to be like human enemies as an AI controlled. I want the human enemies to be actual other people with gear that I can then
That's what I
take.
mean. Like
Okay.
it makes sense in the universe that you would fight human enemies. So why not make those human enemies players, man? I mean, it could give the game the dynamism that perhaps the original game lacked and would potentially bring the game to a whole new audience. I don't know. I think having like an extraction shooter kind of vibe would work really well for that game, but you know, assuming that it's coming to PlayStation as well, could be a big deal, man.
Yeah. So
But
I think it's probably a shoo-in that we see it at the showcase, right? If there's this playtest going on, probably another
I would say
trailer.
so.
And then release probably sometime next year, whether it's the first half of the year or the second half of the year. Maybe a launch title for the Helix, potentially. That'd be something. What else we got here? We have we talked about Sony buying AI studio, which is funny. They shut down a couple other studios and buy an AI studio or machine learning studio. It's kind of funny. Take-Two fired their head of the AI and all that sort of stuff. Did you see this rumor about the Lord of the Rings game that came out and it was like Warhorse was working on it, which is developers of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So it was like people were like, "Oh shit, this game might be really cool." And then Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson came out and said, "Actually, this Lord of the Rings game is being made by Crystal Dynamics, in addition to the games that they're working on in the Tomb Raider series, like the prequel." Not the prequel, like the remake of the OG game and then the next Tomb Raider game. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to think, like, was Crystal Dynamics a good decision to make? I mean, like, I would like a Lord of the Rings game. And I don't know, they're doing all these Lord of the Rings movies. I just saw today that, like, Lord of the Rings, like, there's like a Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum with Elijah Wood and, like, Ian McKellen.
What?
Yeah, there's like two new Lord of the Rings movies coming. One called like Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum, which sees obviously Andy Serkis return as Gollum, Elijah Wood return as Frodo, Ian McKellen return as Gandalf, but they're recasting Aragorn, so Viggo Mortensen's not returning as Aragorn. And I'm like, is this what?
Why even bother?
It's like, I don't know if I want this.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't want this.
Then there's another Lord of the Rings movie called like Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past or something, which brings back Sam, Merry, Pippin, and Gandalf, where I guess they go on an adventure years after like Frodo leaves for, you know, the Isle, and it's like they retrace their steps from their journey, and I'm like, I just,
why?
I don't, because they have to, I don't know, they can't just not let these things be. And I know like Lord of the Rings is a big franchise and stuff. It's kind of like Harry Potter. Why is there a new Harry Potter series? Like, I understand there's more you could do with the TV series. Like, it's 8 hours per season where like the movies are only 2. But what changes are you realistically doing? Like, the Harry Potter movies are great for what they are. And we're not that far removed from them. And we're already remaking them. And it's like, why? And the only reason you can really realistically come to is money. That's it. It's strictly money because we need to make more of it. And we are sitting on these properties that are huge. So it's like, you couldn't just Lord of the Rings be. It's like, no, we have to do a Hunt for Gollum stuff, which is a story that takes place in between like the Lord of the Rings movies when Gollum, I think, was being chased by Mordor and got captured and stuff. But it's like, I've never really wanted to learn more about that. And I don't know. I remember watching Peter Jackson's Hobbit movies and how worse they were in comparison to the Lord of the Rings movies. And I'm just like, it's, I don't know. I feel like this is bad. So like looking at a Lord of the Rings game, like the 2 most recent ones we've had were the games made by Monolith, right? It was God, I can't even think of the name.
Shadow of
Mordor and Shadow of War. Monolith doesn't even exist anymore. And I do think Embracer owns the IP rights to the games and stuff. So, but I think in Crystal Dynamics, it's like, okay, they make the Tomb Raider games. When they tried to kind of go more open world-ish, they made Marvel Avengers, which was a huge flop. So I'm like, are they the right studio? Like, Warhorse would have been a great studio to make like a Lord of the Rings RPG, in my opinion. They have the pedigree to do that.
They sure do.
But Crystal Dynamics, plus, will they even be around? Will they even be around to make this thing? Because who knows how long they're going to need, considering they just laid off another 124 people at Eidos Montreal. And they just canceled a game that was 7 years in development that I saw the Tom Henderson report. So I don't even know how many people are even left at Eidos Montreal. So
they had layoffs as well again recently.
That's what I just said. 124 people. Yeah, his studio had just left as well, and it's like,
I have no idea that studio still exists even now.
Well, I mean, they were co-deving on Grounded 2 and Fable. I mean, I don't know if they're still co-deving on Fable, but They're laying
You
these
know
people
what's
off.
really painful?
Hmm.
What's really painful to acknowledge? That Embracer Group owns a Deus Ex IP, man.
Yeah, and guess what?
How
You're
how
never gonna get another
this
one.
is, how did we get into this timeline where Embracer Group owns a Deus Ex IP? That's makes me sad, bro. Makes me sad, bro.
Hey, you can always go back and play the good Deus Ex games.
Ugh,
You know.
yeah, maybe. I'm just
But
gonna go to the bathroom, bear mate.
another bathroom run for Jez, huh? Jeez, that's two. It's
True
two in
that.
a row.
That's
What are you
that's
doing
two.
over there? Unbelievable.
I've still got the headset on though, so I can still hear you.
Oh my god. Well, we don't want to hear you go to the bathroom.
Don't worry, I'm mute.
Oh, you better. This Xbox 2 could take a really weird turn here. Yeah, so Lord of the Rings game, I mean, sure. I mean, that is one area. I mean, do you guys remember like the Lord of the Rings games? Like EA had the license for a bit when the movies were around, and they would make the licensed versions of those games, like Two Towers and Return of the King. Those were actually kind of good. I remember playing them and being like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." And the Shadow of War games were fun. They're quite good, but you know, kind of took a lot of liberties with stuff that was going on. But I guess like, yeah, Lord of the Rings game. I guess maybe the developer I would pick to make a Lord of the Rings game would be CD Projekt Red. But I mean, they already do The Witcher and they do Cyberpunk, and it's like they probably wouldn't have time to do it. I mean, I don't know who else I would give it to. But I'm just like, a Crystal Dynamics, do you have what it takes? I don't know. I don't know. And is it even like, is it based on the movie trilogy? Is it just some random RPG story that you're just gonna build that really doesn't, fall back on the movie stuff? We'll have to wait and see on that.
I absolutely agree with you that CD Projekt Red would be the absolute
Yes, right?
top flight pick. But I'd rather they made a Witcher and Cyberpunk. I'd rather, if we're talking about like realistic game development timelines, I wouldn't want them to waste their time with Lord of the Rings. I'd want them to do Witcher and do Cyberpunk. I wouldn't want them to do Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So, like, who's left? Who's left?
I mean, you got Pearl Abyss, who just did Crimson Desert.
Oh, bro, how about this? How about this, bro? How about this? What if you do a JRPG style Lord of the Rings game and use the Expedition 33 devs? Could that work? I think it fucking could work. You've got Gandalf as a mage. You've got hobbits who could play like, the rogue kind of class. I think that could work, actually. I think that could work spectacularly well, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about the Shift Up, the devs of Stellar Blade acquiring Shinji Mikami's new studio?
I think that's intriguing.
Yeah.
I suppose it's sort of like I still haven't played Stellar Blade. I own it on Steam, but I haven't played it yet. I've got it installed on my Xbox Ally. It's one of them, like, I'll get around to it eventually. And maybe I'll play if it comes to Xbox Play Anywhere. Do you think that game will ever come to Xbox?
The what game?
If you got
Shinji
Stellar
Mikami's
Blade.
game?
Stellar Blade.
Yeah, I do. I think it will. I think it will.
Do you think Shinji Mikami in Stellar Blade's game will come to that shit?
I mean, they said they're making it for consoles and PC. Yeah, I mean, I think it will. I mean, it'll be on PC, so it will by default, right? But I guess will it be like? Will there be a native version? I think so. It'll be interesting to see what he makes. Very interested in that. What about this rumor surrounding that Disney is interested in potentially buying Epic Games? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Well, first of all, I would say it's probably a bad thing. Disney has no expertise with gaming, and also the fact that Xbox pretty much is all in with Unreal Engine kind of creates an issue, I think. It's one of these like historic issues with Microsoft is like rather than develop our own technology, i.e., like Microsoft owns engines. They own the id Software engine, id Tech. You know, Call of Duty's engine's kind of based on id Tech, I think, if you go back far enough. Like, they own these engines, and rather than develop them, they've gone all in on a third-party engine, Unreal Engine, which they have to pay out the arse for, you know. And then Disney will own that shit, and Disney will price gouge Microsoft, you know. You know, so speaking from the Xbox perspective, it probably would be a bad thing, I would argue. And also the fact that Disney doesn't know shit about gaming and has like dabbled with gaming and then fucked it up multiple times the world over. I wouldn't want Disney more embedded in gaming, but also at the same time, it's like if I'm like a Tim Sweeney, I'm kind of like thinking about what does Epic do next? In a universe where Fortnite seems to be shrinking and seems to be hitting its like limit about what it can possibly do, and like, you know, good old Sweeney's not getting any younger, you know. Is this like a good time to exit his investment and sell up to another company and retire a multi-billionaire to some exotic island in the Pacific, you know? What would you do, Rand? I would probably sell up and then retire to an exotic island in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they
I'd build
would.
a bunker. I'll build a bunker, baby.
If Team Sweeney wants to bail out, I mean, he could. I mean, Disney does invest heavily in Epic, you know, so I could definitely see their interest, but do they want to get back in the gaming space? Because then you're kind of, maybe you could use a different word, but a steward of the gaming space, because you basically own the engine that almost a lot of the third party devs use, and it's like,
Yeah.
do
For better or
you
worse.
want that to happen? Like, there's this wouldn't happen, but imagine a scenario where Disney buys Epic, right? So they buy out Tim Sweeney's share, so they own the majority, like they're majority owners. They can do what they want, right? And then, let's say, I don't know, 5 years or whatever happens, goes down, and let's just say they're like, oh, let's shut it all down, which wouldn't happen, but just bear with me. So no more Unreal Engine, and then since all of Xbox's studios basically use Unreal Engine, now they don't have any engines to use for their games because it's gone. Clearly it wouldn't happen, but the idea of it makes me laugh. Of the idea of being like, all right, we're all using Unreal Engine, and then Disney buys it and shuts it down and be like, oh fuck, now we gotta find a new engine to use. I guess Unity or something, but I don't know.
Unity is not suitable for the kind of games.
I know. It's something that just makes, when I was thinking about it, just makes me laugh about the idea of like Unreal Engine just going away, and all the devs being like, "What the fuck do we do now?" You know. Like, yeah. Hey, idTech 7 is there. Use that engine. It's pretty good, I hear. Right?
Oh man, maybe they could just pivot to Creation Engine. Every game made in Creation Engine.
Every game made in Creation Engine. Are you gonna see You gonna see the Mario?
What about the World of Warcraft engine? I saw that I think the Times gave it 0 out of 5.
Yeah. Like, the reviews for it are harsh, but then the audio, it's like, dude, it's a movie made for kids and Nintendo fans. Like, the Nintendo fans are gonna be like, oh my god, my nostalgia is like through the roof, you know. And here's the thing, I remember watching the first movie and not liking it at all. I was like, this is a bad movie. But hey, it looks pretty and it's got all the Mario stuff and all the Nintendo things that everybody loves, and it's like, yeah, this movie's made for kids and for, you know, 50-year-old, 40-year-old Nintendo fans. So I'm not surprised.
I'll say this. I really enjoyed the Minecraft movie. I thought it was hilarious. You know, so, you know, and the reviews for that were pretty bad. So, I don't know.
Sure.
I also enjoyed the Warcraft movie, you know, and the reviews for that were pretty bad too.
Those were pretty bad. But, I mean, the movie's going to make $1 billion. You know, I think it made like $34 million its opening night. And the reviews are bad, but it doesn't matter because it's made for kids. But I don't know, I find that funny, considering the couple weeks before we had Project Hail Mary, and it's a movie that everybody loves, you know, but it's gonna get ramrodded by Super Mario because kids love it. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes long too, apparently, which is a very short. I mean, that's short.
Quite short, yeah. That's short.
Like you're in and you're
Interesting.
out. I think that's what the
In and out.
length of it is. Jez, what else is going on here? Anything else?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe super chats and Patreon.
I got all the super chats. I'm just looking on Twitter to see if there's like any breaking news about anything. Oh no.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
U.S. job growth in February has been
There's
revised down. Oh boy.
there's going to be Forza previews coming next week.
Yep. Forza Horizon 6.
I suppose that's a bit of news.
I tell you what, it's
Should I watch Project
it's gonna look and play like Forza Horizon. You know?
No. Really? No way.
I'm surprised. Oh well, there is this thing. I think me and you, we sort of mentioned it before we went live. About a lot of people are afraid to tell Todd no.
Oh yeah.
Windows Central Gaming here with an article. In an uncovered interview, a Fallout and Skyrim dev suggested Bethesda's Todd Howard has too many yes men around him that won't push back against his ideas. Quote, a lot of people were afraid to say no to Todd, and I think that hurt him. What do you think about that? Do you think that's true?
I think, it's one person's opinion, maybe they're one person's perspective, which is not completely invalid, but at the same time, it's hardly like a broad something we could consider to be definitively true, but hey, I could be wrong. Maybe he's surrounded by yes men, I suppose like it's difficult when you've been a game dev for so long and you get to a point where like you've kind of reached legendary mythical kind of status, maybe there is a scenario where people will be afraid to push back against you because they feel like, oh god, this could be my job, but it's hard to really say. It's why I don't really do those kind of stories personally. Like the sort of humanistic stories which are based on like one person's opinion, because it's hard to know like exactly what's true with regards to the shit. I don't know.
I mean, I could see this being true. Like you're talking about Todd, who's doing like the Elder Scrolls games and how successful they were, not only to like him and that studio, but also to the parent company, and how successful like Skyrim and Oblivion were, where it just seemed like whatever Todd did just printed money. I mean, there was a reason they brought him out to do all those sort of things. So I could easily see like him not necessarily putting people around him, but that people would look at it and be like, yeah, whatever Todd says goes. We're not going to say no to him. Like, whatever Todd wants to do. All right. But, I mean, I guess you do have to keep in mind, maybe it's someone with an agenda. Maybe it's like a former person there who's like, oh, he doesn't have a lot of pushback. But that does seem to happen in a lot of spaces where a lot of just yes men, they want to keep their jobs. They don't want to rock the boat. So they just agree with whatever the person's saying. And, and that kind of continues. There was even a story, I know this is about Bethesda, but I think it was Jeff Gertzman, we didn't really talk about this, but this was a couple weeks ago, where Jeff Gertzman said that Xbox had just canceled an Xbox Game Studio Fallout game. Do you remember this, Jez?
No.
Yeah. It was, let me see if I can find it. It was a couple weeks ago, and I think I forgot to bring it up. Xbox cancels Fallout game. Maybe that'll be the Google search. Maybe Google will tell me it. Oh, here we go. 3 weeks ago. Yes, this is 3 weeks ago. According to industry journalist Jeff Gertzman, an unannounced Fallout game in development at a Microsoft-owned studio has been canceled. The project was reportedly in the works outside of Bethesda game studios, but will not be released, with speculation suggesting Bethesda prefers to retain tight control over the IP. What do you think about that?
Interesting. Well, I've never heard that myself. I could probably try and look into it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, like, if it's not true, I could debunk pretty easily, probably.
Well, I mean, it's Jeff Gertzman. He's pretty plugged in on stuff. So I tend to believe Mr. Gertzman on this one. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like the idea of how much control can Todd retain over the franchises when you are sitting on you're sitting on a gold mine, and
sitting on a gold mine.
The Fallout TV show isn't going to last forever, which they did just announce, by the way. It's like the second season had like 83 million viewers and is the second biggest Prime Video show ever, only behind Reacher. And it's like you're sitting on a gold.
What is that?
Reacher's like a show based on a very popular book series.
Never heard of it.
Right. Well, I'm not surprised. But there is no Fallout 5, and there won't be for a long time. And we know how Todd and company really like to keep things in house, and they don't like other people playing in their little playgrounds. But it sort of seems like, guys, you sort of got to give up that control because we got to have more Fallout games. And sure, we could do a Fallout 3 remake, which definitely seems that's going to happen. Now, whether it gets announced this year, I don't know. I mean, could a Fallout 3 remake be announced at the Xbox Game Showcase? Maybe it could be. But I sort of feel like those sort of things are the windows you need to really have those are really short. You don't need to announce a Fallout 3 remake that's not coming out for a year. You know what I mean? Especially with like the next season of the show coming out next year. Maybe you time it to release and announce around then. But it's like, all right, well, we need to take advantage of this because it's not going to last forever. So whatever game they might have been working on, I tend to believe Jeff on this is canceled. I don't know how long ago, but I mean, definitely think there's got to be a Fallout game in development that's not a Fallout 3 remake and that's not Fallout 5 by Bethesda. There's got to be like some other game, right?
Bethesda Fallout kind of Pokemon Go like kind of game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where you capture things. Oh, speaking of Pokemon, did you see that Nintendo's patent for summoning monsters was rejected by US Patent Office?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it because it was too broad?
Because it was unoriginal, I think they said. Although the decision isn't final. So Nintendo could appeal or some bullshit.
Yeah, they'll grease the wheels. They'll grease the wheels. They'll get it patented. This is Nintendo we're talking about.
I don't think they will, man. It's too vague. Too vague. It's too vague, bro. Right.
But anyways.
Time
for Patreon questions, you think?
Let's do it, bro.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We have Surfshark.net as the sponsor for this episode. 86% off, 2-year deal. Links in the description, pinned to the comments if you want to help support the show and protect yourself while you surf online. Surfshark.
I'll also do 50% off on Patreon as well.
There we go. As well as Patreon, patreon.com/XB2. We'll dive into the questions this week. See what people want to know. We got Bilal, who says, "Hey guys, thanks for the awesome shows every week. I feel something has changed throughout Microsoft. It's not just Xbox. They have been doing some great things within the Windows department as well. I think it's public perception play. They are really trying to improve the overall brand image of its consumer-focused products, such as Xbox. With Xbox, we can see the focus shifting to the core audience again, first as the base. They have now announced not one but multiple fanfests to build this image they care about the core audience. It's strange because till last year they didn't even have the budget to do an official year-end wrap, which I still think is fucking absurd, but I don't know. Was that the official reason given? That, like, we just didn't have the budget? It's like bullshit. Like, go have an intern do it. It's like every single possible app in your life literally has like a year-end thing. Like my book like Goodreads, where I like kind of I like post when I finish books or whatever, literally has a year-end wrap where it tells you how many books you read, how many pages you've read, all the different genres you read and stuff, like literally everything. Like fucking fridges have year-end wraps. How many times you opened up the fridge door? And Xbox couldn't do a year-end wrap because they were. What was the excuse? Oh, we got things planned for next year. I don't care. I don't care what their official excuse was, Jez. Whatever it was bullshit. I don't care. Bullshit. Jez and Rand, has the 30% mandate been scrapped for Xbox as they are now in a more invest to grow type mindset? I have no idea. I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, that was one of the things where I was like, a return to exclusives, as cool as it would sound, because trust me, I would live for the chaos online. Like, Jez, I mentioned this. Like, personally, I couldn't care less where the games go. Like, it doesn't affect me emotionally at all in whatever way. If the games were exclusive or the games were multi-platform, don't care. Doesn't change my life in any meaningful way, any way, shape, or form. But with that said, whew, if they somehow did do that and be like, actually, we're going back and rethinking what we do, and we're actually gonna, whether it was the timed exclusives or a year or full exclusives, trust me, I will be here for the chaos it would bring online, because it will definitely be there will definitely be opinions flying from many different, because now we've seen PlayStation guys actually love Xbox games. Before it was Xbox games are dog water and they're trash and this the Xbox fragrance. Now we actually say, oh well, these guys actually really wanted Xbox games. They crave them, they love them, they want them. They just didn't want to buy a console, and fair enough. Not everybody has the extra money to buy another $500 or $600 console. I get it. But like you kind of tipped your hand there and being like, we love this, and if you got it taken away, oh my god, the tweets that are from people that will be novel length using ChatGPT be extraordinary. The articles written from different websites, from Push Square to DualShockers, will be legendary, right? Because I've already seen articles written by them being like, we hope Gears EDAY is day one or whatever the heck, right? Like being like all that sort of stuff. It's like, it's great. I can only imagine the articles written by journalists, right? Like that already, one, probably like, I don't understand how this multi-platform approach for Xbox is going to work, but whatever. And if they do go back on it, they'll be like, Xbox and their stupid mixed messaging, what are they trying to do here? They're just going to fail without play. Oh, Jez, I'm telling you, it will be a glorious day sifting through all the stuff from all the different websites and all the different reactions from people online. And that would make it worth it, in my opinion. Couldn't care less if they actually were exclusive or multi-platform, but people's reaction, the chaos it would cause.
You just want the receipts.
Some men just want to watch the world burn, Jez. And that's me. I want to watch the world burn.
You sure do, bro.
I want to watch it burn. That'd
yeah,
be
I feel the same way, but like I feel like Clobril said it best. It's like, if you want Xbox to succeed as a publisher, then yeah, multi-platform's great. But if you want Xbox to succeed as a platform, then they kind of need a unique selling point. Like, how do you do that without exclusive games?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, give me the chaos. I love it. But as for the 30%, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Maybe they've seen the data, and they're like, oh, well, maybe we need to hold off, soften it a bit. I don't know. We got Rave Damos with the super chat, says, gentlemen of the XB2, happy Friday to you and this awesome A1 steak community, the best. Ooh, A1 steak. It's pretty great. Thank you for being here, Mr. Rave Damos. Let's see what else we have. We have Silas, who says, hey guys, I don't have a question this week, but I'd like to share with the community how much this podcast has meant to me. My partner passed away earlier this week from a short but valiant battle with cancer. Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that, Silas. I didn't know. I actually got word of our loss while listening to the most recent episode on Spotify. The last few months have been very challenging for my family, but I always knew I had a few hours a week where I could just escape to a world of shark noises and playful banter. My daughter has had health struggles over the past few years, and listening to the show always makes her smile, especially when Dark Rand and Drunk Jez show up. Even indirectly, the show has been a support system for me, and truly want to thank you guys for the entertainment and happy times you provide. I think you impact more people than you realize.
Man, I can't even express how like sorry I am that you've been going through that, Silas. But you know, it's messages like that which kind of keep me going. Like I was saying to Rand before the show, like things are so tough at work right now. Like Windows Central's lost so much of its traffic because of AI, and the worst thing is that we've not lost ranking. So that means like every website has lost traffic as a result of the AI sort of push. And I was saying to Rand literally before the show, like the Xbox 2 podcast and this community is like such a great way to end the week for me from a mental health perspective. So it goes both ways. Like helps me, and condolences to you, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what's one of the things that I really feel like the previous Xbox regime undervalued was the sense of belonging and community that Xbox can, or any gaming platform can bring to people, whether it's World of Warcraft, whether it's Diablo, whether it's, Overwatch or Xbox or Halo and that kind of stuff. And I really feel like, there's a wider discussion to be had about like the way Roblox has fostered its community. And I think there was an article in PC Gamer recently where I can't remember who they were quoting, but they were quoting some industry figure who was saying like the reason Valve succeeded above everyone else is because they fostered a sense of community, And I really feel like that's a really important part of what gaming is, and we want to definitely be there. We want to be there for, as part of that whole experience. So, thanks to you, man, and best wishes to your family, bro.
Yes, but best wishes indeed. I see this post here from Pure Xbox. Xbox suddenly relisted and quickly delisted a few backwards compatible titles. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, Armed and Dangerous, and Aegis Wings were affected. Is this related to the Xbox PC program coming to PC and Project Helix? Interesting. I did not know that.
I did see that. Red PHX posted some of that stuff. I did see that myself. So there is some weird stuff going on right now with the Xbox's systems, and Red PHX makes the Better xCloud app. So as a result of his work with Better xCloud, he often because he reverse engineers xCloud, so he can add like new features to it. And as a result of his reverse engineering efforts, he often comes across random little bits like this. He was the first person who noticed that there was like a big restructure coming for Xbox, for example. So, this guy like knows his shit, and when he says like things are happening, it's worth paying attention to him. So Red PHX on Twitter, shout out to him. So he noticed that like some games had gone like backwards compatible and then unbackwards compatible, and like they'd been listed and then delisted and stuff like that. So there does seem to be some weird stuff going on there. So it's worth paying attention to whatever Microsoft's doing there. Like, we'll keep an eye on it and let you know.
That's right. Rave Damos says, I want to talk about Xbox Play Anywhere. Not just the marketing team, but the technology behind it in today's console gaming versus the future. Right now, it's clear an Xbox game is an Xbox game, and when that same game is on PC, it's a PC game. But as the future of console and PC converge with Project Helix, my question to you is there a place in the future for Xbox Play Anywhere that isn't just marketing? Based on information shared at GDC 2026, given Xbox's development pipeline starts with Project Helix games and can then be adapted for PC with some minor changes, I'm curious what those specific technology differences are. Is there still going to be a technological difference between the two when Helix arrives? Sayonara. It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, like, because, I'm not, like me and Rand always say, we don't know that much about the tech, and I certainly don't. But I think, like, what you're going to see from Helix is that developers will be able to target both Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Series X as a baseline. I wouldn't be surprised if like developers are sort of encouraged to prioritize PC first. But the thing is, like the aspect, even though Helix is going to be a PC in essence, it's still going to have like console-like development pipeline because developers will know exactly what specs to target, which is what makes it easier ultimately. It's not necessarily a case of like, especially since the consoles have all been x86 for some time. They're all essentially PCs in a way, but with some specific APIs. But developers will be able to like think of Helix, even if they're developing it for PC, they'll still be able to think of it as a piece console in context because it still has the fixed spec sheet, right? Whereas like with like PC more generally, you have to account for like, to how much RAM do they have, what graphics cards do they have, all that kind of stuff. But with Helix, they'll know exactly what specs to expect. So I think you'll still see games optimized for Helix in the same way they're optimized for console today, but albeit with like Xbox Play Anywhere as the default, right? But I do think like Xbox Play Anywhere will be. I do think like developers will still make Xbox Series S and X versions for quite a while, maybe years even. And that Xbox Smart Delivery will deliver the best package for your device. So if you're on Helix, you'll get like whatever package gives you the best visuals. And if you're on Series X, you'll get that package. If you're on Series S, you'll get that package. And if you're on PC, then you'll get the full PC package with all the like, visual customization options that you expect and so on and so forth.
We have BHO Reviews that says, "Hey, Rand and Jez, I have a quick couple questions for the both of you. Jez, after finishing Breath of Fire 4 with your recommendation many moons ago, I have that old JRPG itch. I realize I have both Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross in my Steam library. Which one should I play first?" Well, I mean, I would imagine Chrono Trigger because it's the first one in the series, right?
I haven't played either of them.
I mean, Chrono Cross takes place. I didn't play. I played Chrono Cross, but I know Chrono Trigger's first, so you probably would want to play that one first, and then play Chrono Cross. Although Chrono Cross is still a great game. But yeah, Jez didn't play any of those. Rand, my son is loving the Wheel of Time series. Awesome. Another Wheel of Time fan. I like that. So I got him the entire collection on Kindle, but didn't know it was 15 books long. Yeah, it's a chonker. Very long. He's about to finish book 4, but I don't want him to burn out on the series as some of those books are really long. Is there a good part to take a break so he could just read other books before coming back? You guys are great. Yeah. I mean, look, each book. I mean, you can end and go read something else for a little bit. Like I'm reading a couple series right now, but I don't read them back to back. Like I'll read one book 1 month and then another book the next month. But Wheel of Time is a long series. It's 15 books, and there is what some people refer to as the slog, which I believe is like books 7 through 10. I think, or maybe it's 8 through 10, where the plot movement there's not a lot of plot movement. There's like so many characters and so many different things that the plot doesn't really move.
Rand,
what?
I'm going to shock you right now.
Okay.
I bought a book last week.
And what was it?
It was A Bloodlines by Christy Golden, the companion lore book for World of Warcraft Midnight.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Christy Golden is a New York Times bestseller according to the cover.
I mean, you should just really ask your son if he's starting to feel burnt out. Does he want to take a break? I mean, if he's really raring to go, then I'd be like, let him keep on reading book 5.
Let it rip.
Yeah, I mean, just tell him to be truthful. But like, hey, are you feeling some fatigue? And if he is, been like, all right, well, take a break and maybe read something else. But if he's not, if he just really wants to finish the story, let him go until he decides he's fatigued by himself. Or he may not. He may just rip through all 15 books and not have any of that.
Cullen Prime in chat says, Rand needs to get on the WoW train. I agree.
And then never be on the route train.
Dang.
There's a better chance of me going to California to FanFest than ever playing WoW. So you know how that stands.
I think you'd like it, bro.
No, I wouldn't. Murray says, "Hello, guys. After several Xbox games have been ported to PlayStation, not a lot of them seems to have sold big numbers. Do you know if the sales of each game has still be enough to pay for the ports, or does some ports have resulted in a loss of money? There has been reports that PlayStation made only $2 billion on PC ports, which is not much compared to the total money they made in the same time frame. But do you know anything about how much money they made with only first-party titles on PlayStation compared with PC?" I mean, I don't have any specific details, but usually porting games to other platforms isn't like it's a lot easier than it was in the past. So do I think they've lost money on ports? I doubt it. Like the Gears Reloaded probably made money like on PlayStation, like whatever the cost of the port was. Like I'm sure they made more money than the cost of the port. The question is, did they have expectations of selling 1 million copies and what the dev budget was?
I think also the question is like, how much did it offset the brand damage? Yeah. Because there's going to be some brand damage involved in there with regards to games going to PlayStation that were historically Xbox oriented. So if you're porting the games to PlayStation, like you're going to take some brand damage as a result. Is that worth the offset, you know? And I suppose only Microsoft Bean counters can really answer that.
Indeed. We have John who says, "Hi guys, my question is about Xbox game sales. Why are they so bad, especially compared to Steam? And I don't mean key shops or gray market. I know there's a lot of conversation about Game Pass discouraging the buying of games, but when sales are on, the discounts are so bad even for Game Pass Ultimate subs. It is hardly worth it. It always seems to be the same games with the same terrible discount as well, and it feels like DLC hardly goes on sale. Shouldn't more effort be put in encouraging the purchase of more games on sale?" I have noticed this, by the way.
I mean, it is true that like Xbox's sales are not as good as competing platforms, but I don't think that's necessarily like by design. I think it's probably by oversight, personally. Sometimes I see games go on sale. I see Microsoft's own games go on sale on Steam, and then they're not on sale on Xbox, which to me is the result of an oversight rather than like an intended kind of thing. I think Xbox needs to like have a better regime for figuring out how to do its sales stuff. And also like from my interview with Dave Oshry from New Blood Interactive, he says that like Xbox is quite draconian when it comes to letting developers do sales, whereas Steam is more open and lets developers do their own sales, right? I mean, I know this from Patreon, for example. Like on Patreon, we have to wait 2 weeks before doing a sale each time. So every platform has like its own rules for like how you can conduct a sale for whatever reason. But Xbox is not as open as Steam's are. So there's probably that aspect of it, like some legacy rules which probably need to be reconsidered and that kind of thing. But it is something that I could bring up to them and something I could write about. Like I recently bought I can't remember what I bought now. I bought something was on sale on Xbox and it was like 90% off. And I got it for like $3. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm buying that. It was something weird like Metal Slug Tactics or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But occasionally there are sales on Xbox which are pretty damn good if you make sure you're using the wish list system. But I totally agree, it could be better. I have no idea why they do it that way, but I do think it's a product of like oversight more than anything, especially when you consider like PC gamers expect better sales as a result of, you know, the way Steam operates.
I used to make sale videos all the time for Xbox. And this is obviously when I was making a lot of videos. But even I eventually stopped making those because I noticed while being like, hey, what do I recommend? I noticed that the same games are always on sale, almost at the exact same prices every sale.
Hmm.
And I was just like, and they kind of remain constant. It was like, this game, you can always, like, LA Noire is always going to be on sale, but it's also always going to be on sale at this price and never lower.
Mm.
And I like doing all those videos. I was like, oh, it'll be the Assassin's Creed games are always on sale, and they're always on sale, and this will be the cheapest price point they'll be. But they're always like, so like anytime there's a big sale, it'll be the same games on sale at certain price points. And then sometimes like the indie ones are the ones that'll move a little bit more. Like, oh well, this sale it's $20, but then the next sale will be 15. So I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why the games are cheaper on PC and what have you. I'm not really sure, but I have noticed that where it's like the same games are on sale at the same prices basically, and I sort of wonder if it's like one of those situations where you see a game on sale and you're just like, well, do I need to buy this? Because I know it's just going to be on sale again down the road. Like, I don't need to buy it right now. I can buy it in like 5 months when there's another big sale, and maybe it'll be a little bit cheaper because I have all these other games I need to play. And maybe people just like, or they do have Game Pass. And if you have Game Pass and you have all these games coming in there, it's like, well, do I need to spend $15 on this game when I have access to all these other things? Maybe some people are like, I don't need to spend any money on this outside of the Game Pass subscription. I don't know. Sick and Tired says, hey man, we were led to believe that the direction that Phil and Sarah had taken the business was because of demands by upper management. However, Asha seems to have reversed a number of them pretty quickly. I made the narrative that they are going to go back to the console first, even if they haven't addressed the elephant in the room, which is exclusives. They have kind of thrown Phil and Sarah under the bus with this. How much of the moving away from the console was Phil and Sarah's idea versus demands from above them? Thanks muchly. Yeah, this definitely.
It's really hard to say. I will say this though. I do think Phil was in support of going multi-platform, and I think this because Phil's an optimist, and he's sort of had the opinion that if we can convince Sony to go multi-platform, it'd be better for the industry all up. And maybe he's right, But unfortunately, for whatever reason, Sony wouldn't capitulate. And, I think in a perfect world, and it's like Clobro said, like Xbox can succeed as a publisher, but in a universe where Sony still wants to push ahead with these sort of, exclusives, it kind of makes Xbox look bad to not join ahead with it. So I do think Phil was in support of that stuff because he's an idealist. But I also think like Satya was very public about the fact that he also supported it because he doesn't like the idea of exclusive software. And that's why like one of the first things Satya did when he became CEO was put Office on iOS and Android, which up until then had been exclusive to Windows Phone or mobile. And he grew the share price into what it is today, which is, a lot of people have retirement funds resting on Microsoft share price, which is not the case when Steve Ballmer was in power. So, do I think it was a mistake? I personally do, but I also think it came from a good place, and I think Phil like had his heart in the right place, and I think like he did win some results. Like Phil broke down the barriers between crossplay. Sony, pretty much all Sony games now have crossplay because, that was 100% Phil's doing. And Phil's philosophy, which led to that happening. But, Sony didn't capitulate fully on going multi-platform. We're never going to see God of War on Xbox. And I think he went, maybe too like, idealistic in that universe. So, but I also think it was also partially Amy Hood mandating that 30% margin, and I think Phil wanted to hit that margin. I think he aspired to hit that margin because that's his job. His job is to hit that margin, and if his bosses are telling him to hit that margin, then he's going to try and hit it. Phil's a good corporate worker or whatever. So I would say that it's probably multiple avenues of blame. So I think Satya was public in saying that he wanted that to happen. I think Phil was on board with it for perhaps the wrong reasons, idealistic reasons. But I think someday we might discover that Phil was probably right all along. personally, because I think when you look at, when you look at like the industry, like Roblox and shit like that, Roblox isn't exclusive to a platform. So it's hardly like Phil was making these decisions in a vacuum. The
Yeah.
trends speak for themselves, man.
I guess like the idea though is that, do you need exclusives to sell hardware if you have a platform where like Roblox is just software that can play on anything? Right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't need to be exclusive, because it's everywhere. It's like Netflix. You'll notice that when you go to Netflix, other streamers will put their shows on Netflix. Older ones for sure, like AMC will put their shows on Netflix. HBO will start putting some of their older shows on Netflix. The ones that don't are the ones that like own it. Like Netflix, you don't see any of Netflix's originals anywhere else other than Netflix. You don't see Disney stuff anywhere else than Disney Plus. But you do see some of the other ones put like some of their older stuff there. But then Netflix can be watched on any device that you own in the world. But you look at the console and how different it is. It's like, well, you had to buy a piece of hardware that plays this thing. And for the longest time, like exclusives sort of defined the consoles, and they were a reason why at least the initial push of hardcore would buy them, and then like casual would come in based off of friend recommendations or marketing, or what they thought looked cool, or the big the multi-platform games like your
I think
stuff.
at the end of the day, I think going multi-platform was the right decision. Like speaking in terms of the business, but they didn't have a response to it. I think if you get rid of one unique selling point, you need to have a replacement selling point. And the only selling point that Xbox had was Game Pass, and they fucked that up by doubling the price of it.
Sure.
So, swings and roundabouts.
But I mean,
man.
But Game Pass was never, like, we've seen Game Pass has been around now for a long time, and it's never reached the heights that I know Microsoft wanted it to reach. Now, that could be because it never had the mobile play, which was a big part of it. Like, if you ever saw the projections that Microsoft had, mobile was a big part. And who knows if they'll ever have a mobile store. But, like, what is it? Like, I'd agree with you if you said going multi-platform was the best move for Xbox as a publisher. Absolutely. But I feel like them going multi-platform was the worst move they could do for Xbox as a platform and a brand.
I think it was the best move for them to make quarter over quarter, but the worst move year over year.
Sure.
I think I've written it's short-term games for long-term damage. But can you pull that back now? Can you actually, put the genie back in the?
Yeah, that's the question. Can you put the genie back in the bottle? And a lot of people would say no, you can't because it's already too late. But hey, Sony's about to put the genie back in the bottle with their PC releases, and most people thought that they were actually speed running more towards day one stuff for their big games.
I'll tell you something else. I've had another really good source tell me this week that PlayStation is backing away from PC. So
I mean, I'm not. They started changing some of the verbiage on some of the developers' websites to no longer mention, like they mention like PlayStation exclusives now and stuff, like where it didn't before. Like people have screenshotted the changes that happened. So yeah, but I'm saying like Sony's put the genie back in the bottle, and it's made the Sony fans really happy. So I'm saying like, and PlayStation has put more games on PC than Xbox has put on PlayStation. So if Sony can put the genie back in the bottle, then why couldn't Microsoft and Xbox put the genie back in the bottle?
Damn right, bro.
Something to think about.
I'm a genie in a bottle. Gotta rub me the right way.
Oh God, Jez,
please stop with me.
Please stop singing. Please
stop
singing.
Do you not like Christina Aguilera, bro?
Sure, but you're not Christina Aguilera. Chris says, gentlemen, hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. I have the day off, so I'll be deep into Outpost duos and marathon with my buddy. Jez, a quick comment on the game randomly crashes comment from last week. I ran into something similar with one of my Series X's. Destiny 2 started regularly crashing during heavy loads. Then I continued. Then it continued happening with simpler games like Fallout New Vegas. No warning, no overheating on a clean Xbox. My theory is a hard drive read-write issues. All games were installed on the internal with no external attached. I'd love to test my theory, but I don't feel like dropping $200 on a Seagate WD SSD.
See, hard SSD has been implicated to me with regards to this. You know, but this is like something I've been trying to investigate. I put out a tweet last week because like someone last week commented that Resident Evil was crashing on their Xbox Series X. And I've been trying to help another friend of mine on Discord who'd been experiencing similar. And I thought it was weird that like two people have both said to me, Resident Evil 9 is crashing on their Xbox Series X. And if you go on like the Resident Evil 9 reviews, there's a lot of negative comments about it crashing. Like when I played through Resident Evil 9 on my Xbox Series X, I didn't get a single crash, and I don't know if you did either. Did you crash while playing Resident Evil 9? Because I didn't.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I did not either. So I put out a tweet and I was like, did anyone else crash doing this? And like the vast majority of people said that hadn't crashed. And in fact, ACG even said that for me, like, I really appreciate this. He dropped a message on his community Discord and asked people if they'd experienced crashes, and they hadn't. So it does seem like quite a niche issue, but it does make me wonder, like, as the Xbox Series S and X are getting older, you know, are they... Because, you know, SSDs, they don't last forever, man. Like, that's a whole thing, you know. SSDs have a finite amount of read-write speeds. So in theory, like, they are going to fail eventually. So I suppose it's something to test. Like, if you can, I suppose, get like an external drive, and there are like cheaper Seagate drives out there. Like, you can get a 512 version to see if it'll crash on that. And, you know, if you wait till something like Amazon Prime Day, you can probably get it even cheaper. But
you ever tell you how my One X used to crash on me all the time during PUBG? When someone would throw a smoke grenade and somebody would throw a smoke grenade and my system would immediately just shut off.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. I think it was because it was overheating. Like, seriously, we'd be in battle and they'd be like, Rand, I'm sorry, but I have to. We need the cover. And they throw a smoke grenade and my system would literally just turn off.
That's so weird, man. Does it have like good airflow?
I thought it did, but it definitely was due to overheating. And I remember playing another game where I couldn't get past this one part because there was this volumetric fog, and as soon as I entered it, it just crashed the system. It's turn off. It wouldn't even crash it to dashboard. It literally would turn off the system, Jez.
I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
The full system turning off.
Full system, like, you know, if a game crashed on the 360, the system would turn off. But on Xbox One, if a game crashed, you just,
crazy.
You know, okay, you're back on the dashboard. But when I was playing PUBG,
Xbox One.
Yeah,
not Series X.
No, not Series X. On the One X, I remember playing.
I think I did experience that in some games like Monster Hunter World, where the Xbox fully turned off.
Yeah, it's crazy. Still remember that. Good old PUBG. Let's see. We have good old Collinwood. Hello, Rand and Jez. One more day in Japan, so another Japanese-centric question. Have you ever had to look up a guide or watch a walkthrough to get past a particularly difficult section of a game you're playing? No. I've never had to look through a guide to get past something that I thought was difficult. However, I've looked up guides for collectibles trying to find them because, let's be honest, chasing after collectibles sucks. So like having a guide is preferable. And I think there was maybe twice where I just didn't know where to go, and I looked up a guide and then I saw where I had to go and I felt like such an idiot. I'm like, oh, okay. But no, I've never looked up a guide because something was too hard.
When I was a little kid, and I think I told this story before, I had sepsis. And I was in hospital, and they were worried I was going to lose my limbs and all this shit. So I was in like an isolation ward by myself, and I had the Super Nintendo. And and one of the games I had was Super Metroid. I had a full guide for getting through Super Metroid, like a full guidebook, because and I honestly don't know how I would have got through that game without it at the time, because I'd never played a Metroidvania before, first of all, and second of all, for a little kid, that map is confusing. Sometimes it's like, oh, the way to go is like through a hidden wall. Like, how the fuck? I feel like, how the fuck would you have figured that out as a kid? I don't know. So, well, what the hell's that?
What's what?
Right. I don't know. Your mic's gone all weird.
Has it?
Yeah. Have you got a different mic?
No.
Oh,
What is
that
this?
was weird.
Does it sound really weird now?
It sounds different. It sounds echoey.
Hold on. Let me 1 second.
That's weird. Oh, and also,
Any better?
yeah, that sounds a bit normal. What the hell happened there?
I don't know.
That's weird. Oh, and also, I got another confession.
Okay.
When I played Final Fantasy VII the first time,
Okay.
I used a cheat cartridge.
Oh.
I used a cheat cartridge.
They got you in 4K.
Yeah, for infinite mana and infinite everything. I use a cheat cartridge. A PlayStation 1 Exploder CD, I think it was called.
Mm.
So, yeah. That's my shame, bro. That's my shame. But I did eventually go back and play it properly, so I redeemed myself, maybe.
You did. Chris M says, "Hey guys, first Rand, want to give you a shout out. You've been preaching about Project Hail Mary, and you were right. Absolutely incredible movie that's definitely worth seeing on the biggest screen possible. I think a lot of people, Jez especially, just has to know I'm always right when it comes to these sort of things. I know. I've been talking about Project Hail Mary for years now, and
you didn't know it would be good.
I knew it would be good. Come on.
It might have been terrible. There's been other TV adaptations that have been terrible, hasn't there?
Well, it's not a TV adaptation. It's a movie off of.
I mean,
book.
a book
Sure.
adaptation. That'd been terrible.
But I knew it would be good, Jess. You just don't understand. You still you're doubting Thomas, man.
Doubting Thomas?
Yeah. He goes on to say, it's hard to guess if you'll cover this in the show, but with April Fool's Day this week, one of the jokes I saw was about a free tier Game Pass that included ads that replaced all the loading screens. That was one of Insider Gaming's April Fool's jokes. When it was a joke, while it was a joke, it doesn't feel too far from a potential future. If they decided to do an ad-based tier, which option would you prefer if you had to use it? A, watch a 2-minute video for each hour or two you play a Game Pass game, or B, you have unlimited access, but you still get screen ads during the loading screens. Hope you both have a fantastic weekend. Can I just, before you answer your question, can I just say I fucking can't stand April Fool's Day anymore. It's awful. I used to not mind it so much, but it has truly just become unbearable bullshit.
It's since the corporations got involved with it.
Yeah.
Now, like when I was like a kid and at school, pre-social media era, it could be mildly humorous. But now, like it's a corporate thing now. Now it's lame. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
I like Windows Central. We kind of got like a mandate not to come out for a full thing. And I got a bunch of emails from like Blizzard and other companies like, hey, check out our April Fool's joke. I'm like, no, I'm fucking too miserable for this shit. Keep it. I don't want it. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah. As for which one I'd rather have, well, I'd have Game Pass Ultimate so I wouldn't have to get ads because I would never want them. I mean, I pay for the highest tier of the streaming services specifically not to have ads, like on Netflix or on YouTube or anywhere else. But if I had to choose one of those, I don't know which one's worse. Loading screen, like unlimited ads during all loading screens. Games do load a lot. Or maybe, do they? I mean, I guess maybe for a multiplayer game. I guess it depends on the game. Or 2-minute video for each hour or two you watch or you play. Maybe that'd be preferable where it's 2 minutes out of 2 hours instead of I guess it really depends. How many loading screens does this game have? If it's a lot, I don't, I'd rather it be the 2 minutes. At least with the 2 minute thing, I can just look at my phone for the 2 minutes it's up and then be like, all right, I got 2 hours to play. You know? So I'd probably just choose that one. I don't know. Which one would you choose,
Yeah.
Jez?
I'd choose same, I think.
Yeah.
I think like there is I think ads on Game Pass is probably inevitable, but I do think I don't think it'll necessarily be for offline games. I think it'll be purely for cloud games. But maybe that's naive of me to think that. We'll see.
You got Shay Elephant says, Happy Friday, gents. Do you think Xbox needs a mascot like Astrobot and Mario? Why do you think Who do you think the mascot should be except Master Chief? Thank you for the good show as always.
One thing I've always thought about Xbox is why don't they associate Minecraft with Xbox? I mean, on paper, it should be Minecraft Steve. Steve should be Xbox's mascot. Microsoft owns Minecraft, but you never know it. And it almost feels like Xbox is embarrassed to admit that fact. You know, I don't know if it's something to do with the contract they signed when they bought Minecraft, that they get to be super independent or whatever. But Microsoft has so many mascots that they should be using that they don't. And, you know, for me, like, they've got multiple mascots they could leverage. I mean, obviously there's Master Chief, but I think like Minecraft Steve is obviously a big one, especially as that shit's grown. Doom Guy as well. And then you've got shit like, I don't know, Vault Dweller, generic Vault Dweller. You know, you could even look to the I can't remember his name. The guy from Call of Duty with the ghost mask. What's his name, Rand? You know his name. I can't remember his name. But basically, like, they've got a Fanta promotion on right now. I don't know if you saw this, Rand. But Xbox has a Fanta promotion on right now where it's got, like, there's a World of Warcraft Fanta drink, a Call of Duty one, a Diablo one, and a Sea of Thieves one, I think. And there's like, basically, it's like Xbox's 25th celebration. There's a bunch of cosmetics for all those games if you buy Fanta. And those are all like technically Xbox mascots. But Xbox does the absolute bare minimum to associate that shit with the brand. If it was Sony or Nintendo, you know they'd be slapping that logo all over the place. What does an Xbox do that shit? I'm interested to see if Asher changes that regime.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pip-Boy, for fuck's sake.
I mean, mascot. I feel like the only real mascot there is Mario. I know people like to say Astro is a mascot, and I guess in essence he is, but I don't think anybody gives a shit about Astro outside. You know, like there's a big gulf between Mario and Astrobot.
There is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was Master Chief. It probably still is Master Chief, to be honest with you.
It is today.
Yeah, and will it always be that in the future? That means they would
With
have to
Master
create
Chief
something
on a
that's
PlayStation,
bigger
I don't
than
think
that.
so.
I don't know.
Co-pilot.
Yeah, co-pilot. Thing nobody wants.
Oh god.
Well, you know what, Jez? I think we've come to the end of the show.
Huh. Felt quick.
Yeah, it did. We had a lot to cover. We covered it all. At least the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you have a list of anything you want to talk about. See, I always get all the topics and I'm like, these are things I want to talk about. And I'm like, Jez, do you? Jez like, no. Jez doesn't look at anything. He doesn't know what's going on. You know.
I don't. I'm over it, bro.
You're over it.
I just let Rand decide. Rand Al show organizer. That's you, bro.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This has been episode 404 of the Xbox 2 on this amazing April the 3rd, where it's starting to get nice and warm. Although it's supposed to rain. It's like 55 degrees now. It's supposed to keep on raining.
It's freezing here, man. Talking about getting warm, it's freezing, bro.
It's getting better. We're almost in May, then we'll almost be in June, and then it's basically going to be Gamer Christmas. But thank you guys
I'm
for
going.
hanging out with us. Don't forget, if you want to support us directly, surfshock.net/XB2 for 86% off 2-year deal. Patreon.com/XB2. We get a bunch of perks and all that good stuff. Appreciate anybody
50% off.
Yep, 50% off. Anybody that signs up. And we should be back next week, Friday. See what's going on then. But until then, hope everybody enjoys their weekend. And keep it gaming. Because I can't wait to get on Marathon tonight and cryo and just kill people and take their shit, Jez. That's what I can't wait to do.
Oh, man.
Just take their gear. They get so angry too, man. They get so angry.
They should.
Yeah. The slurs that are used are just wow. They make a nun blush.
Fuck.
But anyways, keep it gaming, guys. Later.
Take care, everybody.